Shalom, Israel. Shalom, shalom, brother Naquan.
Shalom, shalom, brother Uriah.
Another Monday night fire. Giving, of course, all honor and all glory to Yahweh. Bahashima Mashiach Malak Yahushai. Double honors to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting for the second coming of Yahushai. A hearty shalom to you mighty men that go out there and labor and do the work of the Most High, presenting your body as a living sacrifice, and doing all things for the elect's sake. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out on the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying, they're fasting, they're studying. They're being diligent and abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the Akwat, the sincere sisters out there, holding it down in the households, reverencing their husbands, being submissive and diligent, and moving in the spirit of our righteous foremothers. Shalom, shalom. You got it, King.
Come. Right, like the brother said, man, shalom to all of the mighty brothers and sisters out there, diligent, man, in the spirit, on fire, reading, praying, and fasting, making everybody a living sacrifice in the last days. And more than ever, man, brothers got to be occupied in the spirit, occupied in prophecy, and on fire. Having your notes, your pens, your pencils, right, your highlighters, your Bible, the Apocrypha, everything on that, right? You got your, right? Got all of the books that you need, right? The Bible charts, maps, timelines, right? Bible dictionary, study Bibles, ready to get it in through the spirit, man. Right? You got it, King.
Come. The topic of this Monday Night Fire is the mysteries of Melchizedek and the secrets of Yahushua. Right? So a lot of brothers, they just think Yahushua, well, first of all, you just think he's Jesus. And he just walked the earth with a whole bunch of little lambs. And there was always a rainbow in the sky. Right? And the grass was always green. And he just dealt with little Edomite babies. It's levels of understanding Yahushua. That's the coon level understanding of Yahushua. That's as deep as they go. An old creepy or a middle-aged white man, you understand, walking around with a cane, right? There's no account of the Lord walking around with a shepherd's staff. With a shepherd's staff and a whole bunch of fleece of sheep, man. That's not in the Bible. Then you got another understanding. You might have, well, okay, he came to die for the world. He put himself on the cross. And then, all mankind can be saved. Then you got the level, okay, his name's Jesus. He only came for the Israelites. Then you got the other, it's levels to this, man. Yahushua says word. So we're going to go into all of the secrets of Yahushua, chiefly the mysteries of Melchizedek, man. Because Yahushua is deep. The lifestyle and the spirit of how the Most High exalts him is deeper than a lot of these prophecies, man. A lot of brothers don't understand Yahushua. Him being in the wilderness, the Old Testament, dealing with men. He's in the volume of the book, the word, the garden. He's supping with you. He's feeding you right now. Right? So Yahushua is deep, huh? Right? But you got it, King.
Like the brother said, man, you got to come up out of that Christianity mindset of the Lord just having his hands out like this, trying to love everybody, man.
Right.
That's not in the Bible, man. The Lord was an austere man. You understand? His own disciples were scared of him, scared to ask him the breakdowns, right? So how he moved in the spirit is how we got to take on through the spirit. And it's deeper than just a parable here or a parable there. You understand? How he vanished, how he was out in the fourth watch, right? The time, 3 days, 3 nights. You understand? Just like Jonah was in the well, he came. All of this is deep, man. You got to jump, and even in the Levitical priesthood. Because Yahawahsi is our high priest. So you have to jump in the law chiefly to understand the Lord, man, because he is the law. He is literally the menorah. He is the tabernacle. All of those things represent Yahawahsi. From the door, the shewbread, the Ark of the Covenant, all of these things are foreshadowing our Lord. And you have to go inside the law, break it down through the spirit, and dig it on to the New Testament. Just like in Hebrews, right? You got some Psalms, or you got a lot of mysteries in the Bible, even in Genesis, going into Melchizedek, and Lord willing, tonight we're going to break it all down through the spirit.
And this is why we have to break it down, right? This is why we have to go into it, right? Because, brothers are saying Melchizedek is a Canaanite, He's a Canaanite king priest. So this is why this is important. See, the Lord manifests certain things like that. put the spirit on somebody, right? To just get on the link and type madness just so we can post it. They don't know why they don't know. And we're not mad. We're not going to get mad. You know, a lot of brothers will get mad. You know, they'll, what the hell? So we're not upset at stuff like that. You know, these things are supposed to happen, right? Just so we can explain what the truth is. Melchizedek is a Canaanite king priest. Absolute madness, right? Absolute madness. All right, and this will be the last comment I bring up from this man. Is a mythological character, right? So we're not dealing with this, right? We're not dealing with this absolute folly, man. A mythological character. So let's deal with it, man. Let me kick it off. This is the book of Hebrews. So it might be the real Bill Gates, man. Right? Hebrews chapter 7 and verse 1. Right? Hebrews chapter 7 and 1. Let's deal with it. It reads, for this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High God, who met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings and blessed him. So Melchizedek, we're going to go into him. You're not going to read about Melchizedek all throughout the scriptures like you read about David. Or you always hear about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Or you may hear about Noah and Daniel and other books. Melchizedek is only mentioned in Genesis. He's mentioned in the Psalms. He's mentioned in the book of Hebrews. You understand? So he's not mentioned all throughout the entire Bible. So he's a mysterious figure. Now, if you ask a lot of Christians or a lot of people who Melchizedek is, they'll start scratching their head. And they'll say, well, he was just we don't know who he was. He was just an angel that came down, or he was like the guy said, he was an actual Canaanite king of Salem, right? So we have to break it down. Melchizedek, in a Hebrew, his name is Melchizedek, right? So that means king of righteousness. And that's a title for none other than Hamashiach Yahushua. And as we read on, he's also known as Malach Shalom, or the king of peace, right? You had a precept up? I'm going to go to Genesis 14 after you.
I got a precept. I was going to get Genesis. It's the book of Genesis, right? Chapter 14 and verse number 18, the poor account. Like I said, he's coming back from the slaughter. So Hebrews, the 7th chapter, is mentioning and going into Genesis, the 14th chapter, right? It's the book of Genesis, chapter 14 and verse number 18. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was a priest of the Most High God. Check that out. So he was a priest way before the Levitical priesthood was set up, man. Way before the sons of Aaron came on the scene, right? He was already a priest of the Most High. Foreshadowing what? Let me get a precept, man. So this is Yahawahsi, man. Right? The righteous. This is the book, right? Bear with me. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 21 and verse number 6. And he said unto me, it is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. So the Lord's the beginning of everything and the end of everything. He's going to be the first priest. He's going to be the last priest. He's going to be the first king. He's going to be the last king. He's going to set up and be that first lamb. He's going to be that last lamb. The Lord's always foreshadowed all throughout the Bible. So he's the beginning and the end. He was the first recorded priest in the Bible, man. It says what? And he was a priest of the Most High. And he blessed him and said, blessed be Abram of the Most High, God, possessor of heaven and earth. Right? So what did he bring through the spirit? And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine. And that's on a spiritual level, man. That represents the body of Yahawahsi. That bread and that wine. Right? You got it.
And I want to stand at Genesis 14. Right? I want to stay in Genesis 14. Now you got to think about this, man. This is pretty. If you didn't know any better, it would be pretty random for a priest of the Most High God, like the brother said, prior to the Levitical priesthood, prior to Aaron, Eleazar, just to meet Abraham. Abraham, a friend of the Most High, he's going to give a tenth of all that he has to this guy. Who is this guy? A tenth of everything. Now, this after Abram rescued Lot. Lot was flirting with temptation and ended up getting captured. Or he got captured with a lot of settlement. You understand? And then guess what? The Lord raised up Abraham or Abram to go to war. And that's another thing a lot of these Christians don't talk about. They don't talk about Abraham the king. Right? They just talk about, well, we all come out of Abraham. He's the father of faith. Hold on, well, Abraham killed a lot of people. Right? Abraham the killer. Abraham the slayer. Abraham the heathen destroyer. They don't talk about that, huh? Right? But I want to go back to this real quick in Genesis. Where you left off, King? You left off in verse
19.
19 and I'm gonna just finish the next verse. It says, "And blessed be the Most High God, which hath delivered thine enemies into thy hand, and he gave him tithes of all." So Abraham collected the spoils of war. When you read the law in Deuteronomy chapter 20 and Deuteronomy 21, it speaks about the spoils of war. So Abraham knew that you can take things back in war. He captured the women. When you go back to this, let's jump up in Genesis chapter 14 and 16. I'm gonna start at 14. Genesis 14 and 14. "And when Abram heard his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto death." And that's how you gotta be, man. When your brother gets taken captive, you gotta go get him back. You can't say, "Well, let's just go on a fast," right? May the angel come back. Hey, you gotta go get your brother back, man. When your brother gets spiritually taken captive, you gotta go get him back. When he's physically taken captive, you gotta get him back. And Abram had 318 men. You know how much money you have to have 318 men? A lot of these people you look up to in the world, you think they're rich because they got a few cars, maybe a house, right? They might have a basketball court in the garage, but where is their army at? Where's LeBron James' standing army? When do you see LeBron James at a press conference? Then he got 318 men watching, and they live with him, and he has to feed them and clothe them. And these guys probably have families, man. These guys probably have wives and kids. So this man Abraham is taking care of, has to be almost thousands of people. You know? Because when they was going to war, they probably took some women captive. Right? But let me read on. Abraham had to be a billion, over billions of dollars in modern day time. You can look up people's net worth. Abraham's net worth had to be over like $10 billion. Right? But let me read on. It reads, and he divided, Genesis 14 to 15, he divided himself against them, he and his servants, by night, and smote them and pursued them into Habah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. Here's the point. He brought back all the goods and also brought again his brother Lot and his goods and the women also and the people. See that? So he got the women back. He got all of the people, all of the cattle, all of the tents. Everything was gathered back. And the spoils of war. They had to carry that back. Now, all of the stuff that Abram got in war, he gave Melchizedek tithes of all. The word tithe means a tenth. Not a tithe is in what you get in your Baptist church, where they just tell you, now it's time to pay your tithes. And your great-grandmother is reaching over her cane to reach in her big black purse and take out that Social Security check and put it in she's going to fold it up and put it in the collection plate. That's not a tithe. Right? It's not talking about you reaching in your pocket, but the usher with the creepy white gloves says, "Get up," and then does this with the white gloves and points to the ATM in the back. So you got to get up and follow the white gloves and go to the damn ATM. And it says, "Withdraw, deposit, tithes." They rigged the ATM machine to have it say, "Withdraw, damn, deposit, and tithes." You click the tithes button, and automatically 10% of your account. But somehow they figured it out. They hired a scientist to get 10% of your damn paycheck. And you give it to your pastor. That's not what that's talking about. 10% or a tithe is 10% of your increase. So, like, you hear me out?
Yeah, it's a little choppy, Kim, right? But yeah, like the brother was going to, man, the 10th. You go to the book of Leviticus, right? Let's go to, matter of fact, let's go to Numbers. Right? It's the book of Numbers, chapter 18 to verse 21, and it reads, and behold, I have given the children of Levi all the 10th in Israel for an inheritance for their service, which they serve, even the service of the tabernacle congregation. So we gave them a whole 10th, man, right? And the 10th isn't a small number when you have a lot of riches, man. You got like $100,000, $1,000,000, right? $100,000, right? A 10th of that would be eating good, man. That'd be fat, man, right? It's in a 10th, man. So when you go to the law, literally according to the law, you would have to give a 10th for the Levitical priesthood. Now, what if a 10th of all of that was all of the abundant riches that Abram had, man? You go to the book of Genesis, chapter 13, and verse number 2. It reads, and Abram was very rich in cattle and silver and in gold. So Abraham had lots of silver, lots of gold, and lots of cattle, and lots of land, man. That's what makes you truly rich, right? That's a big fat watch that's not even real gold, right? It's stinky silver, right? That rusts as soon as you turn around, man. And your gold that your great grandfather gave to you, man, is half dirty. That's not riches, man. Like Abraham had riches. He had thousands and thousands of sheep and cattle and silver and gold, man. It says what? And he went on his journeys from the south even to Bethel, to the place where his tent had been in the beginning between Bethel and heaven, unto the place of the altar, which he had made there at the first. And there Abram called on the name of the Lord. And Lot also, which went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents. So Abraham was rich, and so was Lot. Man. Lot had a lot of flocks. He had a lot of herds, you understand, and tents. And it says, and the land was not able to bear them that they might dwell together. Like Abraham was so rich, he had so much cattle that the land couldn't even bear all of the cattle that he had. Imagine having so much land.
Slakia. Look at the brother back.
It was great, so that they could not dwell together. And there was strife between the herdsmen of Abraham's cattle and the herdsmen of Lot's cattle, and the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelled in the land. So there was so much land, you understand, that the animals inhabited that it's literally they had to split. Man. It wasn't enough space. So imagine the tenth of that of the land that's being overwhelmed with all of that.
It's breaking
How much
up.
more all of the spoils of war that he took down from these heathen kings. Right? He took all of that spoil and gave it to Melchizedek. And Abram, you understand, he's a high level, man. You're not about to just give 10% to anybody. Your average Joe walking around, man. This man was literally the priest. He knew that through the spirit. It was all set up from old. That was Yahawahsi, and it was set up from old, and he gave him a 10th. The first 10th being set up, and the first Levitical priest, you understand, through the spirit being set up. You got it.
Yeah, I was saying, man, the sound is real bad on your end. Can you hear me?
Calm, barely. I'm going to see if it's on my end. I'm going to log off and log back on through the spirit.
Can brothers hear me? All right, brothers, let me know how the sound is before we continue. Okay, Khan. All right, all praises. So Slaka, that's Satan, right? Satan taking away the word, but we're not going to stop this thing, man. We're going to continue with the word of the Lord. So the point of the matter is what the brothers are going into in Genesis chapter 14 is to let you know that Abram went to war, captured all of the goods, and gave his tithes to Melchizedek. Now, Melchizedek is Yahawahsi because, again, we're going to go into the book of Hebrews, the 7th chapter, and show you the similarities and the dynamics of Melchizedek and Yahawahsi. And Melchizedek is just a title. Right? Just another title for the Lord, which means King of Righteousness. And we're going to go to the book of Hebrews, the 7th chapter, and we're going to dive into it. Right? So let's go to the book of Hebrews, chapter 7 and 1. That's a quick background on Melchizedek. Right? Let's go to Hebrews, chapter 7. We're going to go to the first verse and deal with it. Right, Salaki, bear with us. All right, this is Hebrews chapter 7 and 1. It reads, "For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High God, who met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings and blessed him." So in order to understand Hebrews the 7th chapter, you would have had to read Genesis chapter 14. I'm not sure how these brothers are saying the Old Testament or these Christians is done away with. How are you here to explain Hebrews the 7th chapter? How can you properly break this Hebrews 7, Hebrews 8, Hebrews 9, 10, 11, 12, 13? How can you break it down if the Old Testament is done away with? It makes no sense. You have to wing who Melchizedek is. You have to make it off the top of the head. Right? It reads, "To whom Abram gave a tenth part of all, first being by interpretation King of Righteousness, and after that also King of Salem, which is King of Peace." And that's another title for Yahawahsi. He's also called the Prince of Peace. "Without father, without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but made like unto the Son of God, abideth the priest continually." So Yahweh, it says, well, in this context, when Melchizedek came on the earth, he didn't have a father or a mother. Right? There is no genealogy of Melchizedek. At Genesis chapter 13 or Genesis 12 or 11 or 10, he manifests himself in Genesis chapter 14. He materialized, right? Let's see if the brother back in the background. Okay, come. All right, he materialized from the third heaven and manifested himself on the earth. It's not like he had an earthly father born in Salem, and his mother was born in Mount Hebron. What does it mean in Hebrews 7 and 3? It says, "Without father, without mother, without descent." Showing you that he came straight from the third heaven to dwell on the earth for this particular time as the King of Salem. You're not going to find an in-depth breakdown of Melchizedek's childhood. You're not going to find out what he did in the third heaven. You're not going to find these things out. He just sent down, the Lord is sent down with the title Melchizedek. Right? Let's read on. It says, "Without father, without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days." Meaning he wasn't born on the earth. We have a beginning of days. You might have been born 1983. You might have been born in 1975. You might have just been born in the year 2021. You have a beginning of days. Right? There's a start time for you, and there's an end time for you. You might have lived from 1985 to 2015, 1970 to 2021. Everybody has a beginning of days and an end of life, except Yahawahsi, except Melchizedek. Melchizedek has the beginning of days. He just is created by the Most High. And he doesn't deal with, he was born outside of the time that was given to man. There's no account of when the Lord created Yahawahsi. Let's go to Revelation chapter 3 and 14. Right? Let's go to Revelation chapter 3 and 14. There's no account. You can't say, well, the Lord was made and Genesis. You got certain brothers saying, well, in Genesis chapter 1, it says, let there be light. That's talking about Yahawahshi. That's not Yahawahshi. That's not the light in Genesis chapter 1. Right? Yahawahshi created that light. Right? But when you go to Revelation, the 3rd chapter, it speaks about the creation of Yahawahshi. Right? Revelation chapter 3 and 14. Right? Revelation chapter 3 and 14, it reads, and unto the angel of the church of the Laodiceans write, these things saith the Amen, the faithful and true witness, the beginning of the creation of God. Right? It says the beginning of the creation of the Most High. So who's the faithful and true witness? That would be Yahawahshi. Now he's the beginning of the creation. Right? Of who? Not of man, but of the Most High. So he's the first spirit that's created by the Heavenly Father. Like even Yahawahshi said, the Father in me and I in him. Because he dwells in the bosom, he's the word of the Most High. But when he came on the earth, he didn't have a genealogy like he'd had in Matthew, the 1st chapter. He didn't have an earthly father like Joseph. An angel didn't pop up and go into Mary and say, well, look, you're going to bring forth Yahawahshi. He just materialized. Sometimes you watch those old movies, or they'll show that in Star Trek or something, when you see the particles form on the earth, and then they come into a man. Right? They'll say, beam me down, and then you'll see all of the different elements. They're spaced out, but then they form together and they form a man. That's how Yahawahshi or Melchizedek in Genesis chapter 14 encountered Abraham. He just materialized on the earth like that. Right? Let's go to the book. Let's go back to Hebrews chapter 7. Right? Hebrews chapter 7 and verse 6. I want to see if I can pull this up on the screen. All right, bear with us. Right, this is Hebrews. Slacky, bear with me 1 second. I'm gonna show this on the screen so everybody can see what's going on. Right. All right, this is Hebrews chapter 7 and verse 4. Or it's like in verse 3, it says, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but what? But made like unto the Son of God, abideth the priest continually. What does it mean, made like unto the Son of God? Because he is the Son of God. That same spirit, he abideth a priest continually. Right? Let's go to Psalms chapter 110 and 4. The Lord made a promise to Yahawahshi that he would be a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. Right? Let's go to Psalms chapter 110 and verse 4. Right? Let's go to Psalms chapter 110 and verse 4. It reads, the Lord hath sworn and would not repent. Thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. Who is the Lord talking to? He's speaking about Yahawahshi. All right? He's speaking about Hamashiach Yahawahshi. The Lord has sworn, meaning the Heavenly Father, and he's saying thou, meaning he's speaking to Yahawahshi. He's not speaking to David. I've seen certain Christians, they'll say, well, didn't David write the Psalms? No, David is not the one who the Most High is addressing. When it says thou, meaning you are a priest forever, he's speaking about Yahawahshi. After what? After the order of Melchizedek. And we'll touch on this. Right? What does it mean after the order of Melchizedek? Right? Let's go back to this. And Hebrews chapter 7. Right? Hebrews chapter 7 and verse 4. Now consider how great this man was, unto whom even the patriarch Abraham gave a tenth of the spoils. I believe Ariah was going into that. You have to consider that this man wasn't an ordinary man. How can he be an ordinary man and just a regular king? Now, if he was the king of Canaan And Salem is a city in or Jerusalem, previously known as Jebus, and even before that known as Salem, inhabited by the Canaanites, chiefly the Hittites and the Jebusites. Why would you have Abraham giving a tenth part of all that he has to a Canaanite? That makes absolutely no sense. How can a Canaanite be a priest after the Most High God? Just because it says King of Salem, it doesn't mean it's a Canaanite. It's speaking about the Lord. Now, the Lord gave him a tenth of the cattle, of the women, of all these things. So this isn't just an ordinary man. It's not a Canaanite. It's not a nigga from the streets. It's not an earthly man with a scepter. This is none other, as we said before, and we'll say it again, the Hamashiach Yahushua. And we're going to show you how we know that this is Yahushua. Yahushua is written in the volume of the book. Let's go to Psalms, chapter 40 and 7. Right? Stop thinking that Yahushua is made manifest in Matthew chapter 1 and 1. Right? Stop thinking that Yahushua is just born in the book of Luke. That's the first time you hear about the Lord in the New Testament. And Yahushua appeared before Abraham, right? And he's Solomon. He's many men throughout the scriptures. Right? This is Psalms chapter 40 and verse 7. It reads, "Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me. I delight to do thy will, O my God. Yea, thy law is within my heart." So Yahushua comes in a volume of the book, right? Meaning what? He's written all throughout the scriptures, right? From Genesis to Revelation, the Alpha and Omega, the Ah and the Tha. So you'll even read about him in Genesis, right? You'll read about him in Deuteronomy. You'll read about him in Kings. You'll read about him in the book of Zechariah. You read about Yahushua in many accounts because he's written in a volume of the book, right? Going back to Hebrews chapter 7 and 4. Now consider how great this man was, unto whom even the patriarch Abraham gave the tenth of the spoils. Right? Now, when you understand the law, only the Levites can receive a tenth of the spoils. No other tribe can receive a tenth of the spoils. Reuben couldn't do it, even though he was the firstborn. Judah couldn't do it. You understand? He was the chosen. Joseph couldn't do it. He received the birthright and a blessing. Nobody can receive a tenth of the spoils outside of the children of Levi. So what the hell is Melchizedek doing receiving a tenth of the spoils? He's not Levi. Levi wasn't born during this time. Levi wasn't born till later in Genesis, the 29th chapter. So how in Genesis 14 do you have a priest receiving tithes if Levi wasn't born? Right? So let's go to this. Let's go to the book of let's prove that the Levites received the priesthood, right? Or they received the tithes. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 10. Right? Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 9. Right? Deuteronomy chapter 10 and 9. It reads, "Wherefore Levi hath no part nor inheritance with his brethren. The Lord is his inheritance, according as Yahweh by Shemyahushai, thy God promised him." So when the land of Israel was divided until its respective portions, Levi did not receive a particular portion of land. They received cities, which are the suburbs dispersed throughout the land of Israel, but the Levites inhabit inheritance. So how did they survive? Because you need land to survive. You need land for your crops, for your corn, you understand, for your vegetation, your wine. You need the land to sustain yourself, right? To feed your sheep, your oxen, to have your trees. So if you don't have a land, how the hell are these Levites going to survive? How are they going to eat? How are their sons going to eat? How are their daughters going to eat? Well, guess what? They ate, not because they had a land, but because the love of the Yahweh Shemyahushai. Because the Lord put the law for the other Israelites to take care of them. and give them 10% of everything that they had. That's how the Levites ate. That's as if you was a vagabond, a poor man. You don't have a home, right? You don't have an apartment. You don't have a mansion. You just walk throughout the cities, right? But you're taken care of because everybody in your city gives you a 10% of their paycheck, and you'll be well off, man. Imagine being a homeless man, right? You don't have a house, but everybody in your city, let's use New York for an example, they're giving you 10% of their check, or not even just their check, 10% of their food, 10% of their property. You understand? Of the cars, 10% of 1,000,000 people. You're definitely going to be taken care of. So guess what? And the Levites lived good. They lived better than everybody else. They were well off. They were the priests of the Most High. They had the best garments. They ate the best food. You understand? They had the best oxen, the best cattle. They had the best wine because they received 10% of what the Israelites gave them. Right? Let's go. Let's move on. Let's go to Numbers, chapter 18 and 21. Right? Let's go to Numbers. Okay, Salaki, the brothers in the background. Pull these brothers back.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, King. Yahawahsi Shabbat.
Yahawahsi.
Khan. Yeah, we having some it was some sound difficulties. But we should be straight now. I want to get this precept in Numbers 18. Right? Numbers chapter 18 and 21. It reads, "And behold, I have given the children of Levi all the tenth in Israel for an inheritance, for their service which they serve, even the service of the tabernacle of the congregation." And it was always occupied. You understand? That's another reason why they didn't have a land. They dwelt with the tabernacle. They had to light the incense. They had to move the Ark of the Covenant. You understand? They had to do the showbread and make the bread. They had to set up the golden candlestick. They had to slay the oxen. So they didn't have time. They didn't get a land. They didn't have that luxury. Their service was the tabernacle. Neither must the children of Israel henceforth come nigh the tabernacle of the congregation, lest they bear sin and die. But the Levites shall do the service of the tabernacle of the congregation, and they shall bear their iniquity. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations that are among the children of Israel. They have no inheritance, meaning no land. But the tithes, right? But the tithes of the children of Israel, which they offer as an heave offering unto the Lord, I have given to the Levites to inherit. Therefore, I have said unto them among the children of Israel, they have no inheritance. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Thus speak unto the Levites, and say unto them, when ye take of the children of Israel the tithes which I have given you from them for your inheritance, then ye shall offer up a heave offering of it for the Lord, even a 10th part of the tithe. You see that? So the Levites, they receive a tithes, but they have to take 10% of that 10% and make it a heave offering and give it to the Most High. Ultimately to the priest, the high priest, and ultimately to the Most High. That's how it worked. So they received 10%, but they took 10% of that 10%, which is really that 1% of that tithe, and gave it to Yahawahsi Yahushua. Right? Let me get one more precept real quick. Let's go to the book of Joshua. Right? Let's go to the book of Joshua to show you, Salaki, that they didn't have an inheritance. Right? Salaki, bear with me. We're gonna go to Joshua, the 21st chapter. Joshua, Salaki, to keep having me do this. All right, Joshua chapter 21. And let's read 40. Right, Joshua chapter 21 and 40. It reads, so all the cities for the children of Merari by their families, which were remaining of the families of the Levites, were by their lot 12 cities. All the cities of the Levites within the possession of the children of Israel were 48 cities with their suburbs. These cities were every one with their suburbs round about them. Thus were all these their cities. And the Lord gave unto Israel all the land which he sware to give unto their fathers, and they possessed it and dwelt therein. So the Levites, they had cities dispersed throughout the land of Israel, which are called the suburbs. And that's what the so-called white man, he get the concept of the suburbs being the best part of the city. You meet Jake, man, where you from the suburbs? You know, they live good in the suburbs, man. It's not a lot of crime in the suburbs, right? It's not a lot of violence in the suburbs. This is modern day, right? That goes, urb goes back to the word urban, meaning highly populated, right? Suburbs are outsiders. They're underneath the city. They don't have to deal with all of the mess and the madness. So that the Levites, they're the original ones from the suburbs. You know? You got it, King.
Come on. Right. And you can link that up with Numbers chapter 35 too. It's the book of Numbers chapter 35 and verse number 2. Command the children of Israel that they give unto the Levites of the inheritance of their possessions cities to dwell in. And you shall give also unto the Levites suburbs for the cities round about them. Right? So they had the chiefest of things, man. It wasn't thrown in a corner somewhere with a bunch of grass and a couple hills, man. They had the nice part, you understand, of the city and the suburbs. It says, and the cities shall they have to dwell in, and the suburbs of them shall be for their cattle, and for their goods, and for all their beasts. And the suburbs of the cities, which he shall give unto the Levites, shall reach from the wall of the city and outward 1,000 cubits round about. So they had enough land not only for themselves, you understand, in their tents, in their dwelling place, but also for their cattle, man. And it was wall over to the outward of 1,000 cubits round about. So they didn't have a small little place on down 35th Street, man. Right? No, they had a nice allotted land that was on the upscale of things. Right? They didn't have to worry about different areas where drought and famine and things like that. They lived on the upper echelon. Like the brother said, suburbs, man. You think about suburbs, you think of white picket fences, think about no crime, right? Think about nice views and things like that. So the Levites, they were living good through the spirit.
Con, I got another precept. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 14, dealing with this ties. Right? So, you know, our people, that's a stronghold for our people. That word is just thrown out irresponsibly. People are very irresponsible with the word tithe. As if, like we said, it's just your grandma's paycheck, man. They're passing around that collection plate. Sometimes it's connected to a pole. And he's shoving it in your damn face in the middle of the pew. You know? The Lord isn't dealing with that wicked collection plate. Now, you can have a collection, right? That's 1 Corinthians chapter 16, and you have collections all throughout the Bible. But if you call it a tithe, now you're going to hell off. Now, because the collection, right? Let me get this precept real quick. Right? A collection is not, it's not a set amount. You pretty much give what you can. But if you're calling it a tithe, you're forcing people to give 10%. If I make $1 million and you say we're doing a collection, give what you can, and I might feel like giving 20. You know? I might want to give 100. But if you say give a tithe of it, now you're manipulating me. Now you're robbing me. Now you're telling me I have to give 10% of it. So that's what a lot of you pastors, you ain't right. And the Most High, He's going to get up with you, huh? With fire and with brimstone. Right? This 1 Corinthians. Let me get this precept real quick. Right? This 1 Corinthians, it's like I went to chapter 16. Right? 1 Corinthians chapter 16 and 1. All right, about a collection. First Corinthians, hey, they took a collection to build the temple, man, or repair the temple. First Corinthians chapter 16 and 1. Now concerning the collection for the saints, as I have given order to the churches of Galatia, even so do ye. So there's nothing wrong with taking the collection. That's not wicked. If you're first of all, if you're taking that collection and using it for yourself, that's wicked. If you're taking that collection and buying a Benz, buying a $62 million jet, buying strippers, buying leather skin damn shoes, now it's being wicked. But a collection within itself is not wicked. If you're calling the collection tithes, that's evil, right? So you can't say a collection is wicked because they was doing it in the Bible, but they were sincere. You know, it says in verse 2. You want to say something real quick, King?
Con, I get in there after you, King. You got it.
Okay, Con. Verse 2. Upon the first day of the week, let every one of you lay up by him in store, as the Most High prospered him. Right? Meaning the Most High might have given you a little, the Most High may have given you a lot. Right? But there's no set amount on it, on the collection. That there be no gatherings when I come. Meaning Paul, he need that money. So when he come, guess what? He already won it bagged up, for lack of better terms. He didn't want to come to Corinth and everybody patting their pockets to get a collection. This collection was for other churches. All right, for the saints in Jerusalem, them of Macedonia. The collection wasn't going to Paul's pocket. But when you read this account in Corinthians, a lot of these brothers in Corinth, they didn't want to give Paul the money because they thought Paul was finessing with the money. And Paul pretty much told them, I don't need your damn money. Right? You read 2 Corinthians, he said, look, I don't want it. Forget about it. Because y'all want to be a damn nigga. Right? But again, there's nothing wrong with a collection. You got it, King.
Con. And to pull another account on the collections, right? Going into Paul, that's the book of Romans, chapter 15, verse 25. It says, but now I go unto Jerusalem to minister unto the saints, for it had pleased them of Macedonia and Antioch to make a certain contribution for the poor saints which are at Jerusalem, right? So to gather up all of the money through the Spirit and help the poor in Jerusalem. Not to take it and stuff it in your back pocket, man, right? And grin when you got away. That's not what that's going into, man. So Paul was a saint. You understand? He was going around helping all of the poor saints of Jerusalem by going to each church, getting everything together, right? And that certain contribution, right, of Macedonia, you know, is talked about in 2 Corinthians, the 8th chapter. The 2 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse number 1 says, moreover, brethren, we do you to the wit of the grace of God bestowed on the churches of Macedonia, how that in a great trial of affliction, the abundance of their joy and their deep poverty aboundeth unto the riches of their liberty. You understand? So Paul was going around doing the work, helping these different churches. That's why the whole chapter, 2 Corinthians, the 9th chapter, is going into give, man. It's better to give than to receive. You understand? And when you read 2 Corinthians chapter 9, right, and verse number 6, he says, but this I say, he which soweth sparingly shall reap also sparingly, and he which soweth bountifully shall reap also bountifully. Right? Meaning what you help certain people, you do the work, right? You give a contribution, a collection through the Spirit. Hey, if it be the Lord's will, you're going to get all of that back tenfold. Right? That's why the Lord said, let me get one more precept. In Ecclesiastes, right? It's the book of Ecclesiastes. Bear with me. Right? The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 11, verse 1. Cast thy bread upon the waters, but thou shalt find it after many days. Give a portion to 7, right? Meaning a complete number. And also to 8, meaning infinite. and thou knowest not no evil shall be upon the earth. So that's going together, man. You get the shirt off your back. You teach till you your damn lung coughing, right? You do the work in the rain, right? You get bread, meat, right? Water. You give it to the homeless. You're gonna get all of that back through the spirit. So the Paul was doing the work and literally having it to be done for the poor saints in Jerusalem.
Hey, King, your sound's getting choppy again. I don't know why it's doing that, but it was kind of cutting in and out. I heard what you were saying, but it's just Satan. I wanted to
It is Satan. I try to go again on another device through the spirit.
Okay, Con. And
Con,
I wanted
you
to
got
add.
precept.
Oh, Slocky, y'all done real quick. I want to add to this real quick. I want to add back to what the brother went into in 2 Corinthians 9. Right? Because that's how things were done in the ancient times to take care of the churches. Because they didn't have this high priest and this Levitical priesthood firmly established like the ancient world. When I say that, I mean like the ancient world to be able to take these tithes. So they have to have a collection going on. Right? This is 2 Corinthians 9:7. And here's the point. It reads, every man according as he purposeth in his heart, so let him give. Meaning a true collection, you can give what you want to give. Right? You can give what you want to give. If we put a collection in for the congregation, a brother can give what he want to give. We have like a set standard so we can get things done for the body, for the congregation. But if a brother don't have it and he puts up something, we're not going to frown the brother. We're not going to beat up the brother. Right? It reads, not grudgingly. Meaning don't be stingy with it. Right? You put $1 in, but it's attached to an invisible string to your wrist. So when you put the $1 in, you snatch it back, and the dollar looks like it's floating in the air back to your pocket. That's wicked, man. Or never give alms or give charity with your face frowned up. Right? You about to damn near cry because you got to put in $10 for the body, man. That's off. Tomorrow I wanted Jordans. Why I gotta give alms? Right? You gotta give alms in this thing, man. That's not a suggestion. That's a commandment. You got brothers that want to go into all of the deep breakdowns, but they have never given alms. You know? You gotta be like Tobit in this thing. It says not grudgingly or of necessity. Right? Nobody should have to ask you to do this thing, right? You should want to do it. That's what this means. It says, for the Most High loveth a cheerful giver. But your pastor, they'll use this verse to rob you. Right? And they give in these churches, man. When we was in a church in the world, they had two? I think they had 2 offerings. It might have been 1, it might have been 2, right? But it was a lot of pressure on you. So if you didn't go up there and get that offering, people kind of looked at you funny. And you had a bad name. So you went to get your nasty, wicked food in the basement. They was kind of looking at you crazy. And they kind of shorted you on your food. Right? So this is a wicked, abominable place.
That's right.
You got a yard down.
I was gonna say, when you not put in or not helping out the body, you're also not helping out the widows, because that money that you put in, it could be used for this. Certain money is allocated for this project or for this reason or this reason, and you have widows out there that need help, right? If your husband died in the ancient world, you can get jammed up, because in the ancient world, who was doing all the labor, right? And the husbandry work, the husbands, right? It really wasn't woman's work to do that. So I say all of that to say, when you hold back your tithes, you ultimately oppressing your brothers and your sisters, because that's some money that they could have used for, whether it be for food, taking care of the kids, taxes, rent, whatever. And I was going to get First Timothy chapter 5, verse 3. Honor widows that are widows indeed. That's not to say put them on a pedestal and start worshiping them, but hey, giving alms so those alms can help out the widows. Hey, that's doing a mighty thing. Let me continue real quick. But if any widow have children or nephews, let them learn first to shew piety at home and to requite their parents, for that is good and acceptable before God. Now she that is a widow indeed and desolate trusts in God and continues supplications, prayers, and night. It's like your prayers day and night. It's like your night and day. That's all. That's all I really wanted. When you
Con,
hold back your bread, you ultimately not hurting yourself only, but you're hurting your brothers and your sisters. You know, so you can't get mad at Esau for oppressing your brothers and your sisters when you oppress them as well, but not putting their arms and you know, coughing up the bread. And again, it's not to say you got to cough up $1,000,000 or 1,000, but you know what you can give, and the Lord knows what you can give. You know, you saying you don't got no money, patting your pockets, and then you come to camp with a new menorah necklace, gold, straight gold, and an ephod, and a garment, and sandals, you know, and a ring on your finger that look like a lion,
right.
and a mitri with bells on it. But you got it.
Con, and I want to add to that. This First Corinthians
I
chapter
already
9.
got it. Oh, that's the spirit.
Con, this
Oh,
First
you got
Corinthians.
it in front. Okay, it's there too.
Can you
You
hear
got
me?
it. Yeah.
All right, this First Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 5. It reads, now, hold on, let me go back. Because
That's the spirit.
I'm gonna read I'll get straight to the point. I'll go to 9. So Paul had a situation going on in Corinth with these brothers. This First Corinthians chapter 9 and 5. Or 9 and 1. Am I not an apostle? Am I not free? Have I not seen Yahawahsi Mashiach our Lord? Are not ye my work in the Lord? So he's pretty much letting them know who he is. He got to remind them who he is.
Right.
Look, y'all came into this thing through me. I'm an apostle, right? Because they was kind of questioning Corinth. Questioning Paul. When you read these epistles, you got to read it in the spirit. This is a letter given to somebody. And within the letter, some of these things are responses. There is no account of the letter that the Corinth gave to Paul. There's no account of that. A lot of this stuff is responses. A lot of this stuff is reports that Titus and these other men brought to Paul, and he has to reply back to the situations going on. So he's about to base him out, right? But you got it, King. I'm about to finish this after you.
Quick point. I was going to say, kind of just to let me back off what you were saying. Although we don't have those letters of what Corinth was saying to Paul, we can righteously discern and understand through the Spirit what they might have been saying based off his response, straight up and down. You can tell straight up. It was kind of like, who is this nigga? Who is this guy? I don't know if we should do this. And he's tackling them one by one by one by one. Clearing the table, making it all plain for them to understand.
Yeah.
And you gotta, again, when you read, you're not reading like it's a novel, like it's a magazine, like it's a bionicle magazine. Brothers had when they was younger. You got you got to read this thing using discernment. You got to understand the tone, move, all of that. You got it.
Yeah, that's important, man. They teach you that in the damn school, man. There's a certain tone that the author's giving you. It's the spirit behind what they're writing. I remember learning that, man. That's something Esau got right, because they get it from the scriptures. Like we always say, you can't read the Bible like the creepy, nasty, old white man at the library. So this 1 Corinthians 9 and 2. If I be not an apostle unto others, yet doubtless I am to you. For the seal of mine apostleship are yea in the Lord. He says, hey, look, if I ain't an apostle, then you're not in this truth. Right? Mine answer to them that do examine me is this. Why would Paul say this if people wasn't trying to put him on trial and questioning him? He says, here's what I have to say. Y'all examining me. Y'all saying I'm not no apostle. Y'all saying I'm trying to rob y'all. Hey, look, guess what? Have we not power to eat and drink? Hey, look, we need to eat. We need to drink, man. We got power to do these things. Have we not power to lead about a sister, a wife, as well as other apostles? and the brethren of the Lord, and Cephas? Or I only and Barnabas, have we not power to forbear working? Who goeth a warfare any time at his own charges? Right? Meaning nobody. Right? You wait on the general to go to war. Who planteth the vineyard and eateth not the fruit thereof? Nobody. You plant and you eat your labor. Or who feedeth the flock and eateth not of the milk of the flock? Say I these things as a man, or saith not the law the same also? So Paul is quoting the law. You have people saying the law is done away with, and Paul is about to quote the law. For it is written in the law of Moses, thou shalt not muzzle the ox. It's like it muzzle the mouth of the ox that treadeth out the corn. Doth God take care for oxen? No, meaning man, you have to feed the oxen. You have to take care of the oxen that are laboring. So what the apostle Paul is saying, me and Barnabas, we out here laboring and doing the work, and we got a right to this thing, man. It reads, just like when your ox, this is from Deuteronomy 25, 4, if I'm not mistaken. When your ox is laboring out in the field, he has the right to eat while he's laboring, because he's working. You as an apostle, you have a right to eat while you're laboring. That's the law. We're the new ox on the right-hand side. We're the new laborers, and we're laboring in the vineyard, and the labor is worthy of his reward. You know, reading on. Or saith he it all together for our sakes. So that law in Deuteronomy 25 and 4 about thou shalt not muzzle the mouth of the ox that treadeth out the corn, that's really written for a spiritual level for the apostles. Right? It reads, for our sakes, no doubt, this is written, that he that ploweth should plow in hope, and he that thresheth in hope should be partaker of his hope. If we have sown unto you spiritual things, is it a great thing that we shall reap your carnal things? So they give them the truth, and they got to get taken care of, man. Hey, Paul didn't have a dwelling place. He told them that in the 4th chapter. Paul didn't have a house. You know, Paul didn't have a mansion to go to. He said, the least y'all can do is give me some carnal things. That's the least you can do. I'm out here laboring. I'm in Galatia. I'm in Corinth. I'm in Iconium. Look, I'm plowing. I'm laboring. Please help me out. And they said they didn't want to help him out. They examined him. Who the hell is Paul? That's what they said. I don't have to help. They said, I don't have to help this nigga. Pretty much. So the church of Corinth, they was off, man. You had a man that popped his mother. You had effeminate men. You had drunkards. You had women not keeping silence in the churches. You had people that was questioning the Apostle Paul. Right? You had all hell breaking loose. You had them debating, I'm from Apollos. I'm from Paul. Strife and envy. You know? Absolute madness in Corinth. So there's a lot of brothers from the church of Corinth back on the earth right now. They might be in a lot of different camps causing trouble. A lot of troublemakers and different bodies, man. They all might be from the church of Corinth, scattered abroad. You know? So let me read this again. 1 Corinthians 9 and 11. If we have sown into you spiritual things, is it a great thing if we shall reap your carnal things? So guess what? You can get carnal things. Brothers can give you water. They can give you an umbrella when it's raining. They can give you hand warmers because you out there giving them spiritual things. If others be partakers of this power over you, are not we rather? Meaning, damn, you giving everybody stuff. Shouldn't you give us stuff? We brought you into this truth. You giving the market man an extra 5 for the shambles. Right?
Your barber.
Yeah, your barber who's cutting and shaving your head bald. You go into the temple of Aphrodite, tipping the prostitute a few more. You giving them all this carnal things. Your wicked son with a dress on and long hair. Right? You gave him an extra garment. Paul and Barnabas, they said, look, we should be taken care of. We need these carnal things. Now, this isn't out of greed. It's not a covetousness. It's like out of love, man. You know, it's love and it's correction. That's like if Yahawahsi traveled from Detroit and had to walk all the way to Baltimore, and we said, we ain't giving this man nothing. You got to figure it out. He like, damn. And then Yahawahsi brought us all into the truth. And we told him pretty much figure it out. What you going to do with our money? Right? That's what's going on in this thing. It reads, if others be partakers of this power over you, are not we rather? Nevertheless, we have not used this power, but suffer all things. Damn. Unless we should hinder the gospel from Mashiach. Man, we're not even going, look, it ain't even that deep. Look, you got it, man. We're just going to keep doing this work. That's what it means. We're not going to really use this power. We got power to command money from you. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what he's saying. We got power to say, hey, look, we need a place to stay. You're obligated to take care of me. And when we travel to certain cities, you know, but we don't do that, man. We got hiccups. We get them trying to get a rental, going hand over fist, you know, trying to get a hotel, trying to get something to stay, and canceling. All hell broke loose in Houston, man. They shut down brothers' cards. We late, you know. But guess what? It says, nevertheless, we will not use this power, right?
And
Suffer all things, and we were suffering out there, man. We were shipwrecked out there for a minute. We ended up being late to camp because all hell was breaking loose. In Indiana, we couldn't even get into the damn hotel. They robbed us, so we ended up suffering. We didn't ask no brother to, hey, look, we need to stay with you. We brought you into this truth. You know what it is, right? You know that's wicked. So we don't want to hinder the gospel of Mashiach Yahawahsi, right? One more, verse 13. Do ye not know that they which minister about holy things live of the things in the temple, and they which wait at the altar are partakers of the altar? Right? You got it, Yahawahsi.
and I was gonna say for Jake better not get offended. Let me bring out this verse real quick. Jake, if you offended by this, you gotta start over or something. Because he wasn't doing it in like a gangster way.
Right,
You know,
right.
yeah, you burn it up. Kind of walking somebody's house, crib, you know, it's late at night. How you coming to this thing? Me or you? You know, being wicked. He wasn't moving in that matter.
Right.
It's Luke.
Just talking about, remember that time I counseled you out, right? Why don't you cash at me 40 grand? I'm the one that helped you put that cigarette down. Remember, it was me. That's evil. That's
Yeah.
evil. You gotta love your, even if you love your brother, you gotta be sincere, man. The Lord said, let thy life be sincere. And as freely as thou hast given, freely give. The Lord said it is much better to give than to receive anyway. You know? But you got it, King Salakia.
Con. It's, Luke 7:23. And blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. Right? And of course, when you read Corinthians, this is all, again, the words of the Lord. Everything is the word of the Lord at the end of the day. All right? So Jake can be offended at that. Best believe, you know, Yahawahsi, you know, is in agreement with Paul. You understand? So don't be offended in this thing. It is what it is. And again, he's not using, you know, he's not moving in wickedness, right?
Right, right.
So he was
Yeah.
just saying that to pretty much make the point, just making a point. You know, you're making a point. You're talking to somebody. It's
Yeah.
not like you're going to do it, but you're just making a point. You're expressing,
Yeah.
you know, what it is.
Right.
Because, you know, Jake, man.
Because Jake is simple. And sometimes you gotta take it there with Jake.
Yeah.
That's like you let Jake drive your car, he driving it all over. Hey, the Lord said, by much bashfulness, a man overthroweth himself. So you gotta say, hey, look, I know you've been driving, but look, you wouldn't have this car if it wasn't for me. Sometimes you gotta remind Jake that. You know, the only
In
reason you got this
righteousness.
car because you don't have to throw it in his face. But if he moving in a particular spirit, you gotta check Jake because his mind is bad. So you gotta kind of remind them what time it is, how they say, man. You know? So, but you got to be sincere about it. And they got to be a rebuke out of love. So the point of going into that is because we had collections in the ancient world. There's a difference between collections and tithes. What we went into in Corinthians and Romans and the New Testament, those are collections. And they had collections in the Old Testament. So I wanted to go back to Deuteronomy 14, right? Dealing with these tithes. So these are things that brothers have to know, lest you go back to that Christian church and your pastor kind of getting on you, man.
Yeah, they milk you dry.
Yeah,
Now you're figuring out how you pay your rent, and your
yeah.
baby crying at 9 o'clock, and all you can do is just say, shh.
See that? Because you didn't get that, no food for your child, man. And your pastor eating crab and lobster, and your son is, you've been hungry, but you just got to go to sleep. That's what your son is doing. He's so hungry, and there's no food. He said he's going to go to sleep. Hopefully it goes away. Because there's no food in the house.
Or he might tell his dad, I'm not hungry, Dad, for I already ate earlier. And he's lying to you.
Yeah,
He's lying to you now because he knows the truth. He doesn't want to make you feel bad because you gave all your money to Fat Pat Caster.
Yes, this is sad. And I'm sure this has happened in our communities, man. I'm sure these things have happened. I'm sure our people have came out hand over fist to the pastor, man. And they thought it was for the glory of the Most High. And they really believe that. A lot of these people in these churches, they really believe that they're doing the right thing. Right? They really believe if they make $60,000 a year and they get the damn $3,500 check, if they give 10%, they really believe they're going to make it to heaven. I just want to go to heaven. Right? They believe in hopes that once they die of AIDS or have a heart attack or they're in their walker or Alzheimer's, that the so-called white man polluted them with and gave them all types of disease any damn way. They believe when they die, they're going to go to heaven and see a white man, white Jesus. They can finally be with white Jesus. So our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge because you're getting robbed, like Yahawahsi said. You're getting milked. You done turned yourself to udders of a cow. The 4 udders, and they just milking each one of them. You're checking and you're saving your 401k and your pension. But let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 14. And the pastors, like they use this in Micah. This is what they get you with, man. Right? Let's go to Micah. These pastors, they love this verse right here, man. See that my aunt just gave her pastor $1,000. And I'm sure she believes she did a good job. I'm sure she believes when she went home, she had a smile on her face. I'm sure she thinks her prayers are being heard. And that she's going to make it to heaven with Biggie and Tupac. And who else is up there? Aaliyah and Whitney Houston.
And Michael Jackson.
And Michael Jackson.
And Biz Markie.
Yeah, Biz. Goddamn. Damn Biz Markie and MLK, man. This Malcolm X. This Micah chapter 3. It's like what is that? I wanted this with a man rob God. I just had it in my mind. Here's Micah second chapter.
4th.
Right, let me just pull it up for sake of time. Right? This is a sad life our people live, man. This is a sad life.
3 and 8.
Oh, Malachi, Slacky. I went to Micah, Slacky. I went Malachi. Malachi 3 and 8. Will a man rob God? This is what your pastor's using on you. Will a man rob God? Yet ye have robbed me. And he may give you a damn acting class moment. And he'll start crying. You robbed me. Right? But ye say, wherein have we robbed thee in tithes and offerings? So they'll say you're robbing him if you're not giving your tithes. You're robbing God if you don't give your offerings and your tithes. Now, in this proper context, that's true. If you were to have 10% of all of your increase and then dedicate it to the Most High, and you're robbing the Lord. And a lot of our forefathers did that. They might get a Lord an apple, and they'll get 10%. Or get a Lord a cattle or the lamb that was all beat up and bruised up. And they'll keep the best lamb for themselves. Right? Like the brother said, the damn voice be trembling when they read that. And we all know how it goes. Will a man rob God? Right? And he looks serious. And he got that creepy towel over his damn shoulder. And he patting his head, right? While that loud ass organ is playing, and he's manipulating and bewitching your mind. Will a man rob God? See that? The pastor be like, the Lord just told me there's $1,000 more in the house. Yeah. Yeah. Hey man, I'm gonna pull up this video. Oh, you got a yard. I'm gonna pull this up.
I was trying to pull up one too. That's the spirit, but none. I mean, that's cool. That's cool. All right, let me bring out this precept. This is the book of Sirach. Cause Jake, you gotta stop falling victim. You gotta stop falling. What do they say? Prey to everything. You want to be gullible. You want to be a fool. This is Sirach. And Jake, you a hypocrite too, because you claim you want to do good, and to you doing good is giving all your money, all your 2 weeks rent. It's like your 2 weeks paycheck to to that pastor, but you won't help out Jake on the highways and byways. Not us on the highways and byways, but the less fortunate, the needy who really need it. You know, that's what I'm trying to say. And I'm trying to pull up that video. This Survivor 13. Let me pull this up. Bear with me.
All right, I found it.
Okay, this is Survivor 9 and 13.
Okay, you got it, King.
And it reads, "33 and 19 Slovakia." So like 33 and 19. And it reads, "Give not thy son and wife, thy brother and friend power over thee while thou livest. And give not thy goods to another, lest they repent thee, and thou entreat for the same again." So those pastors, they got power over your life. And it may not seem like it. It might not be putting you in a chokehold, knocking on your door every day, every night, asking for money, right? But they already got power over your life, you know? Because like the brother said, they bewitched you through their tactics, such as them fluctuating their voice. Should a man rob God? Patting their head with that nasty napkin that's sweaty, that's been recycled all day. You know, you got it.
Quick point: a lot of these guys, they take acting classes. It's a crash course. They got like a crash course. They run through the seminary school, then they take a quick acting class. That's what I want to say. You got it, King.
Yes, like your brother said, smelling like lard. You know, it's stinking there. And you falling, you giving all your money to them too. So you got it.
Okay, so we're gonna play this clip.
You ain't giving a blessing.
Can you hear that, Yardan?
No, you're muting yourself, and I think it's muting the video.
Hold on.
I'm bringing out this precept. Verse 20. This is Sirach 33 and 20. "As long as thou livest and hast breath in thee, give not thyself over to any." As long as you living on God's green earth, hey, don't give your money, your time, whatever to somebody that shouldn't have it. You understand? That's why it's in Sirach. Let me bring that out too. Yeah. It's Sirach chapter 12. You have to know who you give unto. Sirach 12:1. When thou wilt do good, know to who thou doest it. So shalt thou be thanked for thy benefits. Right? Do good to the godly man, and thou shalt find a recompense, if not from him, yet from the Most High. And we did videos and breakdowns. You've seen it from other camps, how these pastors, these imams, these people in the synagogues, they're not here for you, right? They're here to take your money, and that's it, and to sell you a dream. So don't think you're going to be recompensed by them or the Heavenly Father if you try to give your money to them. This is right 12:3. There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil, nor to him that gives no alms. Give to the godly man and help not a sinner. Right? That man, he's not a good man. And Jake said, well, how do you know? What do you mean? Oh, brother, put up the video, man. And we're about to watch him in a minute. He's anointed in money. Verse 5. Do well unto him that is lowly, but give not to the ungodly. Hold back thy bread and give it not to him, lest he overmaster thee thereby. It's like, lest he overmaster thee thereby, for else thou shalt receive twice as much evil for all the good thou shalt have done to him. So you mess around and give somebody $1,000, now you're going to get twice as much evil. So like the brother said, hey, your aunt, she may walk home with a smile. She kind of sit down, thinking she did a cool thing, like she the main character, whatever. Lo and behold, she could give up the ghost the next day, or a car breakdown. She break her leg, so you're gonna get twice as much evil. For the Most High hateth sinners, and will repay vengeance unto the ungodly, and keepeth them against the mighty day of their judgment. And if you help the ungodly, guess who you are? You with the ungodly. Birds of a feather flock together. If you help out the godly, 9 times out of 10, you trying your best to be godly. So you got it, King.
God. Now this is like the brother said, Leroy Thompson, anointing money and Creflo Dollar money rant.
What's this? I tell you why I hadn't come in. You ain't giving the blessing none to work with. What? You ain't giving the blessing nothing to multiply. What? You sitting up here talking about, oh Lord, I need $100,000. Hey, by next week, I felt 50,000, right? Yeah, there go 30. I shot out 20. That ain't how it happens. That's not how it's happening. You're not giving the blessing anything to multiply. You're just gonna.
Where's it at in the Bible? You're not giving the blessing anything to multiply. Look at all these damn people in church. I'm led to believe this about maybe 10,000 people. Look at this. Edomites, Israelites, Moabites.
You're not giving the blessing anything to multiply. You're just gonna involve me of money so it can be multiplied. It's not happening. It's not. Listen, I hate to disappoint you, but listen, folks, everything else is a fantasy. It's not falling out of heaven. God's not raining money out of heaven. It's not gonna happen. You gotta get love with your money. What? You gotta get love with your money.
See that? You see that? You heard that, Yaradon?
You gotta replay it one more time, King.
All right, absolute madness. Absolute madness. You're gonna have to get involved with your money. Right? It's like I said, the audio must not us lock here. Damn, Satan. Right. Bear with me 1 second. I'm about to I'll pull it back up. All right, bear with 1 second.
bring out this quick precept for you again, man. This book of Sirach,
God.
chapter 12, verse 14. So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sin, who will pity? So if you lose all your money, it's like it's an echo. If you lose all your money to Pastor Joe, if you lose all your money to Pastor Joe, nobody's gonna pity you. Con. Let me get this other precept. Verse 15, Sirach 12 and 15. For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. And we bring up this example a lot. When your church or your pastor really is asking for money for the church's new thermostat or a radiator, hot water sink, whatever, toilet, whatever the case is, when he's asking you for money, you're going to give it to him. But when you're having trouble paying rent, how often do you find him driving up to your car in his Ferrari to give you money and help you out? It's rare. That's not happening. You understand? It's not happening. Then we got this one last precept. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 13, verse 8. Beware that thou be not deceived and brought down in thy jollity. And a lot of people in the church, they're real jolly. They get excited. They start clapping with, you start clapping, dancing your hands, and moving around, and you're brought down at the end of the day because you were deceived. You were bewitched to the point where you actually lost all your money. Because they pass around that collection plate like hot plates. You got it, King. You on mute.
Okay, bear with me, son.
You sitting up here talking, oh Lord, I need $100 by next week. Oh, I feel 50,000, right? Yeah, oh, 30,000, top 20. You're not getting, you're not giving the blessing in the multiply. It's going to take the involvement of money so it can be multiplied. Listen, I didn't disappoint you, but listen, folks, everything else is offensive. I'm not raining money. You have to get involved with your money.
Technical difficulties, but I'll bring out this precept. This is the book of Sirach. Bear with me. Oh, yeah. Sirach chapter 29, verse 10. Right, so when you got, it's kind of turned into, a finances thing, but it all goes back to the main topic, right? But I just wanted to bring out this quick precept. This is Sirach 29 and 10. Outside of verse 9. Help the poor for the commandment's sake and turn him not away because of his poverty, right? And your pastor, they're not, they're not in poverty. They're rich. Lose thy money for thy brother and thy friend let it not rust. It's like let it not rust under a stone to be lost. These verses doesn't apply to the church. You know, it doesn't apply to Second Baptist Church down the street next to that McDonald's. You know, this all really pertains to people that's in the truth. You know, but even with them being in the truth, you still got to be circumspect. Because although that brother may be wearing fringes, or that sister may have on a dress, call upon Yahawahsi was shy, it can still be grimy. You know, even in the ancient world, our forefathers, they was wearing their right apparels, they might have kept the Shabbat, but guess what? They were still grimy in areas regarding money. You understand? That's why the Lord gives us a plethora of precepts that pertains to handling finances and money. I can't hear you. I can read your lips. I think you said you can't hear me, but I can't hear you. Huh? No, I can't hear you. Nope. You said, can you hear me now? I'm just reading your lips, but no, I can't hear you. All right, let me bring out this other precept. All right. So you gotta get out those churches, bro. You gotta get out of that thing. You know. Let me pull up Sirach chapter 30. And this is the spirit because we was touching on this the last Sabbath call. It's like the Shabbat lesson. I believe it was the milk lesson that we did in WFI Detroit. You know. So let me bring this out. This is Sirach chapter 31, verse 24. I'll start at verse 23. Whoso is liberal of his meat, men shall speak well of him, and the report of his good housekeeping will be believed. Right? And in this context, meat isn't literal, right? You gotta understand the scriptures is written in hip talk code, similar to dark sayings, parables. So let me bring out this precept of Psalms 115 and 5. It's like here. 111 and 5. He that giveth, it's like he hath given meat unto them that fear him. He will ever be mindful of his covenant. All right. It's not talking about the Lord coming down, giving you a steak dinner, you know, a prime rib, you know, the prime kosher rib. It's not talking about that. It's talking about spiritual meat, right? Whoso is liberal of his meat, men shall speak well of him. And we understand the Lord is liberal of his meat as long as we keep the commandments, pray, fast, and do everything that he wants us to do, right? Everything that he requires us to do and we do it, he's going to give us meat and spiritual understanding, right? And the report of his good housekeeping will be believed, all right? And all those that have received meat, milk, honey, bread, right? Anything, hey, you start to speak well of the Lord and you understand how great he is, right? And that's all your conversation is with your brothers and your sisters. All praise to the Most High, all praise to the Most High for this reason, that reason, this reason, all right? And on the lower level, that's on the spiritual level, but on the lower level, a man that is liberal of his meats, whether it be chiefly perhaps alms, right? Or this thing or that thing, man's going to speak well of him. And you have to ask yourself, is my pastor fitting the bill? Does he fit this verse? Is he a man liberal of his meats? Nah, he's this man in the next verse. This is Sirach 31 and 24. But against him that is a niggard of his meat, the whole city shall murmur, and the testimonies of his niggardness shall not be doubted of. And it's not niggard is not synonymous with nigga, negro. You know, they have no relations, right? When you Google the word niggard, it's somebody that's very selfish, right? a penny pincher. All right, he's a magpie. Those are the synonyms that that fit this word, a niggard. Your pastor, whether his name be Joe or Ruckus or Lucas, he's a niggard. Therefore, you should not be giving your money to him because he definitely won't help you out in the time of need. Therefore, making him a ungodly man. You understand? Yet in the same breath, he says, "Shall a man rob God?" You gotta condemn that man. You gotta get on him. Even the Levites, were they niggards? Where he's saying, "Look, Lord, nah, I got this for me, and I'll give you this much." No, they had to even them. They had to give a tenth of the tenth. You got it, King.
Khan, can you hear me?
Con.
Okay, Khan. To add to that, well, let's go back to Hebrews the 7th chapter. All right, let's go back to Hebrews chapter 7 and deal with it. So we had to touch on arms and touch on the collection just so brothers can understand that difference, right? And we went into how Abraham gave a 10th part unto Melchizedek, and we're going to go back to that based off of Hebrews the 7th chapter. So let's go to Hebrews chapter 7 and 6. Hebrews chapter 7, and we can read verse 5. Let's read 5.
It's Hebrews chapter 7, verse 5. And it reads, "And verily, they that are of the sons of Levi, who receive the office of the priesthood, have a commandment to take tithes of the people according to the law. That is of their brethren, though they come out of the loins of Abraham.
Yeah, we went over that, right? How the Levites have to pay. I mean, Levites receive tithes of their brothers, right? Go on.
But he whose descent is not counted from them received tithes of Abraham and blessed him that had the promises."
So Melchizedek received tithes too, even though he's not a Levite. He blessed Abraham. Go on.
And here men, it's like in here, men that die
It's like you
receive
read 7.
tithes. Huh?
You skip 7.
It's like in verse 7. It's like in without all contradiction, the less is blessed of the better.
See that the less is blessed of the better. So the priesthood of Melchizedek, as we read on, is going to supersede the Levitical priesthood. All right.
This is verse 8. And here men that die receive tithes, but there he receiveth them, of whom it is witnessed that he liveth.
Now read that. Read 7 and it's like your 7 and 8 again, Baba Kishar.
Verse 7. And with all contradiction, the less is blessed of the better.
Right. Go on.
And here men that die receive tithes, but there he receiveth them, of whom it is witnessed that he liveth.
Yeah, because priests they die and they receive tithes. So now we're about to show you the Lord is pretty much diminishing the Levitical priesthood in its context. Not that it's worthless, but he's going to magnify the priesthood of Melchizedek by downplaying, for lack of better terms, the Levitical priesthood. That's why it says, and herein men that die receive tithes. So, I mean, Levitical priesthood is cool and all. We'll put it like that. But those men die. The priesthood of Yahawahsi, and guess what? He lives forever. So which one's better? Right? We can go on.
Verse 9. And as I may so say, Levi also, who receiveth tithes, paid tithes in Abraham.
See that? So that's the ultimate trump card. The Levites, they actually paid tithes to Melchizedek. So who's greater? When Abraham paid tithes to Melchizedek, by default, the Levites paid tithes to Melchizedek because the Levites come from Abraham. So you can't say what a Levitical priesthood is over the priesthood of Melchizedek. No, because the high priest essentially is paying his tithes to Yahawahsi. Right? We can go on.
Verse, where we at? Verse
11.
10. It's like verse 11.
10, 10.
Verse 10. For he was yet in the loins of his father when Melchizedek met him.
Right?
If therefore perfection were by the Levitical priesthood, for under it the people received the law, what further need was there that another priest should rise after the order of Melchizedek, and not called after the order of Aaron?
See that? So the Levites in verse 10 paid tithes to Melchizedek to show that the Melchizedek priesthood supersedes the Levitical priesthood. And if the Levitical priesthood was perfect, why would you have to have a priesthood after the order of Melchizedek? Right? Go on.
Verse 12. For the priesthood being changed, there is made of necessity a change also of the law.
It's not a change and how the world deals with the word change. This means a transition. The Lord is transitioning the Levitical priesthood back to the priesthood of Melchizedek. Because if it changed, you're saying that it went from the priesthood of Melchizedek to the Levitical priesthood. But the priesthood of Melchizedek is forever. So it's not changing. We read that in Psalm chapter 110 and 4, that thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. The Most High swore that to Yahawahsi before the foundation of the world, that he would be a high priest, and he is a high priest. Right? So both priesthoods existed in a spiritual realm, but now they're transitioning and playing out on the earth. You know? We can go on.
For he of whom these things are spoken pertaineth to another tribe, of which no man gave attendance at the altar.
Now it's telling you that Melchizedek is Yahawahsi. It's telling you straight up, right? It's telling you who we're speaking about. We're not gonna beat around the bush. This man is from another tribe. He's not a Levite. He's a Judite. Go on.
For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah, which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood.
So Yahawahsi came from the tribe of Judah, but he's a priest. You see that? Hey, we're priests right now. We're priests after the order of Melchizedek. Right? We're not the top high priest, which is Hamashiach Yahawahsi, but we're lesser priests. We do sacrifices. We light the incense. We slay the oxen. We kill a calf. You understand? These are all of the sacrifices that we're doing as priests. Like you had a beeping noise.
So I can't even put that.
Come. It says, you can read on, King.
And it reads, and it is yet far more evident, for that after the similitude of Melchizedek there arose another priest.
See that? After the similitude of Melchizedek, meaning the same spirit of the king of righteousness in Genesis 14, going to have another spirit, or that same spirit come back, right, with another title. Go on. Which is Yahawahsi.
Who is made not after the law of a carnal commandment, but after the power of an endless life.
Right?
Because Yahawah is forever, man. You know, you already mentioned the four verses up. It's not four verses up, but like verses up that a priest died. You know, but the Lord, he's not. You know, he doesn't die. If you understand what we're saying.
Right.
Verse 17. For he testified, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek.
Right. We read that in Psalm chapter 110. The Lord made a promise. Let's go to John chapter 17, and I believe I want 24. Well, let's go to St. John 17 and 24.
John chapter 17, verse 24. Father, I will that they also, whom thou hast given me, be with me where I am, that they may behold my glory, which thou hast given me, for thou lovest me before the foundation of the world.
So that thou lovest me before the foundation of the world. So there's a history that we don't have about the account of the Most High and his son Yahawahsi before the foundation of the world. We don't have an account of when Satan was created. Right? We don't have a book, chapter, and verse to show you the exact time that Michael was made. Or the chariots. Right? There's no account of the chariots being created.
There is a life prior to Genesis 1 and 1. And part of that account is a special love that the Most High, that Yahushua knew about from the Most High before the foundation of the world. And also when the Most High swore to Yahushua that he would be a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. All these things was played out from the foundation of the world. You know? That's why, because you may say in Psalm 10, well, when did the Lord say that? I read Matthew. When did the Lord promise Yahushua he'll be a priest forever? I read Mark. It wasn't in Matthew. It didn't happen in Mark. It didn't happen in Luke. It didn't happen in John. This happened from the days before man. This is before time existed. Right? This is before the elements were created. This is in the third heaven in paradise. You know? So we can go back to that in Hebrews chapter 7. Right? Hebrews the 7th chapter. And I believe we left off. And
Verse 18. No.
18, come.
Yeah, verse 18. Hebrews chapter 7, verse 18. For there is verily, for there is verily a disannulling of the commandment going before, for the weakness and unprofitableness thereof.
Yeah, so it's saying that the Levitical priesthood was weak. And it's going to tell you as we go down how it's weak and unprofitable. The high priest, they would give dead sacrifices. Yahushua is a living sacrifice. They would give you an animal to cover your sin. Yahushua blots out your sins for eternity. The high priest would die. Yahushua lives forever. The Ark of the Covenant is a symbolic representation of Yahweh Yahushua. Yahushua is the power of the Most High. So everything in the Old Testament was weak compared to Yahushua. That's when you go to Hebrews. Let's go to Hebrews 10 and 1. It speaks about the law being a shadow of good things to come. Hebrews chapter 10 and 1.
Hebrews chapter 10, verse 1. For the law having a shadow of good things to come, and not the very image of the things, can never with those sacrifices which they offered year by year continually make the comers thereunto perfect.
So the point I want is that the law is a shadow of good things to come. So anything you read about in the law, it's a carnal side, you understand, or a carnal representation of Yahushua. Even the feast days, certain Passover, feast of dedication, you understand, dealing with the seven spirits, the Feast of Tabernacles. All these things are a representation of Yahushua, the manna that came down. He said he's the bread in St. John 6. Right? The Ark of the Covenant, the mercy seat, all of that is a shadow of Yahushua. Let's go to Colossians chapter 2. Right? All of these things are a shadow of Yahushua. And a shadow is not the real thing. Imagine falling in love with somebody's shadow. And you'll never know what true love is. You're just in love with the shadow of a person, but not the actual person. You'll be bugged out your mind, man, to cleave to the shadow and not to the light. Right, let's get a quick precept of Colossians chapter 2, and I believe I want 2 and let's read 15.
Colossians chapter 2, verse 15. And having spoiled principalities and powers, he made a shoe of them openly, triumphing over them in it.
Yeah, the Lord openly cast out demons. He openly cast out Satan. He triumphed over them in it openly. Everybody saw Yahushua's works. Go on.
Let no man therefore judge you in meat, or in drink, or in respect of an holy day, or of the new moon, or of the Sabbath days,
Which are what?
which are a shadow of things to come, but the body is of Hamashiach.
See that? It's a shadow of things to come. See that? Because if you want to get so technical on the Sabbath, let's say a brother keep the Friday night to Saturday night Sabbath or the lunar Sabbath. You can't condemn a brother strictly for that. Why? Because Yahushua is going to give you the true rest. He's the true Shabbat. He's going to give you the true rest. The Passover. You might mess up on the Passover, right? But it's a shadow of Yahushua. You understand? Everything that you do, the meat offerings we did, even the drink offerings we did, they were symbolic for Yahushua. So you can't really condemn a brother to death because a brother believes in grace, that this thing is just a carnal representation of Hamashiach Yahawashah. This isn't saying you don't have to keep the Sabbath day. It's not saying you don't have to keep the holy days. It's not saying you have to keep the new moons, or you don't have to keep the new moons, or you can just eat what you want to eat. That's not what this is saying. Like the Christian church, it's letting you know the things in the law are a shadow of Hamashiach Yahawashah. You know? So we can go, you have something that y'all done? Come. So let's go back to Hebrews chapter 7.
Verse 19.
Come.
For the law made nothing perfect, but the bringing in of a better hope did, by the which we draw nigh unto God.
Right? Which is Yahawashah. This is how we draw nigh to the Most High. He's the better hope. I'd rather put my trust in Yahawashah being an advocate than a fatted calf. Right? It's the fatted calf going to make intercession to you every day, all day. No, it's dead. It's dead and it's done away with once a year. But Yahawashah, guess what? He's better. He drives our hope closer to the Most High. Right? We can go on.
And inasmuch as not without an oath he was made priest.
Meaning there was an oath. We read that oath in Psalm chapter 110. He was made a priest, just like the other priests were made with an oath. Go on.
For those priests were made without an oath, but this with an oath,
Yeah.
by him that said unto him, the Lord swear and will not repent, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek.
We just read that. Right? Go on.
By so much was Yahawashah made a surety of a better testament.
Go on.
And they surely, it's like and they truly were many priests, because they were not suffered to continue by reason of death.
You have Aaron, you have Phineas, Eleazar, all of these men. Right? But they all died. There's not a lot of Yahawashahs. Last time I checked, it's not like when you had a Yahawashah during the time of the Roman Empire. Then you had a Yahawashah when we dwelt in the land of Ham. You had another Yahawashah in America. And every year there's a Yahawashah that comes up and dies for the children of Israel. That's off, man. That's wicked. Imagine that every year a man got to get raised up from the nation of Israel, get beat, get denied for his people, get smote upon, do miracles, and then die every year. No, that's not his thing. There's only one Hamashiach, one Malak Yahushua, man. But you have many high priests that died. They got old, they got sick, their back fell apart, they died in the temple, you know. But there's only one Lord, right? Let's read on.
Verse 22. By so much was Yahawashah made a surety of a better testament.
So a
And they truly,
testament, it's like a testament is a covenant or a contract. So here we're reading you have the Old Testament and the New Testament. Technically, when you're reading Genesis to Malachi, yeah, we call it the Old Testament, but on a deeper level, that's not what a testament is. These pages aren't a testament, right? The testament was established in Exodus 24 when the blood was sprinkled upon the people and the books and all of the holy things. That's when the Old Testament, so-called, that's when what we call the Old Testament, that's when that testament was established. These pages from Matthew to Revelation is not technically a testament. The testament is a contract initiated upon the death of a testator, which is Yahawashah. You know?
right. So, for those who may be wondering, why do these brothers always say so-called old, so-called new? That's the reason. But, layman's terms, you might hear brothers say new and old. I don't know, that's just to get, what's the word I'm looking for? That's a colloquial term that we would just utilize today, kind of, to what with Jake? What's the word I'm looking for? We what with Jake? Kind of get on their level,
Kind of make ourselves all men.
Yeah.
So it's going to break down the testament when we jump to the 9th chapter. But let's read on.
Hebrews chapter 7, verse 19,
24.
24. But this man, because he continueth ever, hath an unchangeable priesthood.
So again, there's no priest coming after Yahawashah. There's no high priest coming after the Lord, after the order of Melchizedek. Right? Go on.
Wherefore he is able also to save them to the uttermost that come unto God by him, seeing he ever liveth to make intercession for them.
So
That's
that's
love.
yeah, so that's ultimate love. It says he is able to save them, right, to the uttermost that come unto the Most High by him, seeing he ever liveth to make intercession for them. So Yahawashah lives forever at the right hand of the Most High, and you were set up, man, before you were born. Right? The Lord already died for you before you even came into this truth. You know? But it's up to you to believe and take hold on the words of life. Right? So that blood can sanctify you. Let's go to Romans chapter 5 real quick. Right? So Yahawashah ever liveth to make intercession for us. Meaning whenever we go off, we have Yahawashah who's the advocate. Right? You can't offer bullocks to the Most High for a sin offering. You can't give the firstborn of your body and the damn 1,000 drink offerings, man. Right? Let's go to Romans chapter 5 and verse 1.
The book of Romans, chapter 5, verse 1. And it reads, Therefore, being justified by faith, we have peace with Yahweh through our Lord Yahushua Hamashiach.
Yeah, because the Most High was angry with us. But now we have peace. That's why he's called the Prince of Peace, or the Prince of Life. Because he brought peace between the Most High and the children of Israel. That's the greatest peace on the earth. The greatest peace you can ever have is between you and the Most High. Yeah, we know Esau. We talk about the Moabites, and we speak about the bombs and World War III and the peace on the earth once Esau's destroyed. But that peace won't even be possible. You know, and the nation going into slavery unless we have peace with the Most High. Right, let's go on.
Verse 2. By whom also we have access by faith into this grace wherein we stand and rejoice in hope of the glory of God.
Now you have access by faith into this grace. Right? When you have access to something, that means a door is opened up to you. Right? Now you can enter. Let's say there's a room called faith. Now you can enter into that thing, man. Now, I want to get this precept real quick. Right? Let's go to the book of Acts. Right? I want to get this precept. So now we have access to faith. You didn't have true faith until you had Yahawashah. Right? Which is this word. So this let's go to the book of Acts. I want to get this precept. Right? I may have to find it, but I believe it's in Acts chapter 14 and 27.
The book of Acts, chapter 14, verse 27. And it reads, And when they were come and had gathered the church together, they rehearsed all that God had done with them, and how he had opened the door of faith unto the Gentiles.
See that? So there's something called the door of faith. Right? And if you open that door, you have access to the Most High. See that? Just like that veil in the book of Hebrews, the 10th chapter. Yahawashah's the veil, that flesh. So you go through Yahawashah's body, you have access to the Most High. So we all have this door. We all have this door of faith opened up to us. Read that again, King Baba Kasha.
Down verse 27. And when they were come and had gathered the good church together, they rehearsed all that God had done with them, and how he had opened the door of faith unto the Gentiles.
See that? The door of faith was open to the Gentiles. It used to be closed to the Gentiles, to us. Right? We were niggas. We lived lives of lawlessness. Certain men were effeminate, robbers, thieves, liars. Women were whores, thoughts, looting and tooting, right? Getting into all types of evil, man. But then the Most High opened that door. You kind of heard it open up. You said, well, what's in that? Then you walked in that door with your right foot. Then you came into the knowledge of the Most High. Let's go to the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 2 and 12.
2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 12. Furthermore, when I came to Troas to preach Hamashiach's gospel, and a door was opened unto me of the Lord.
See that? So the Lord opens the doors, man. Right? He said, I stand at the door and knock. If any man open, guess what? I will come unto him and will sup with him and he with me. And that door is also your mind, your spirit. So the Lord can access your spirit. You have a door that you have to open up to. And that door is your mind so the Lord can come to you. And the Lord has a door that leads to your mother's house. And it's truth. You got it, King.
Let me double check. This is it. Revelation. This is Revelation 1 and 18. I am he that liveth and was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore. Amen. And have the keys of hell and of death. You know, and not to say this is the Lord, but not. Well, what I'm about to say is an example. I was going to bring up the example of a janitor. I'm not saying the Lord's a janitor, but if you've seen a janitor, you see they got all these keys. And the Lord got keys for certain reasons, for selected for certain doors. You know, it say real quick in Luke 24 and 44. And he said unto them, these are the words which I spake unto you, while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled which were written in the law of Moses, and in the prophets concerning Psalms concerning me. Then opened he their understanding, that they might understand the scriptures. So he opened up their understanding, and then they understood the scriptures. You got it.
I was thinking about that man from the Matrix. Remember the guy with
The
all
key
the
maker.
keys? Yeah, the key maker. And he had a key to every door. You know, and some of them doors went from one realm to the other realm. And that's how it is with this truth, man. You go from the realm of the world and then a realm to the Most High. And the Lord said one realm shall fight against another realm. You know? So let's go to Luke chapter 11 and 52.
I got one more slide here.
Con, you got it.
Isaiah 22 and 22. And the key of the house of David will I lay upon his shoulder. So he shall open and none shall shut, and he shall shut and none shall open. And I will fasten him as a nail in a sure place, and he shall be for a glorious throne to his father's house. So the Lord got all the keys, you know?
Con. And
You
I'm going to
said,
link.
Job?
I'll read it. I'm already there. It's in Luke 11 and 52. It reads, woe unto you lawyers, for ye have taken away the key of knowledge. Ye entered not in yourselves, and them that were entering in, ye hindered. So you got certain people trying to enter into the door. People tripping them, closing the door, taking away the key, saying, no, you can't get to the Lord. You have certain brothers taking away the key of knowledge, not giving you the breakdowns, shutting up the truth, not giving the information, not teaching about Yahawahsi. And the Lord gives those keys to certain men. You know? Chiefly gave it to the Apostle Peter, but ultimately those men, these men on the earth, you still have a somewhat of an access to those keys, which is not necessarily the key to bring people in and out, but it's the key of knowledge. Right? And I had one more. Let's go to another one for this context. Revelation chapter 3 and 8. Right? Revelation chapter 3 and 8. It reads, I know thy works, behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name. So the Lord got an open door in front of you, and no man can shut it. That's how we were prior to coming into this truth. There was an open door, right? That weed demon tried to shut it. That horde used to deal with tried to shut it. Your dreams and aspirations to make it in this society, they all tried to shut that door. But no man can shut it. You understand? Like you try to shut that door, you got somebody toe right there, just holding up the door. It don't have to be a big block. It don't have to be just something to keep that door open. And that door is open to the elect. And no matter what happens in their life, they're going to walk through that door. The Lord, whether you're a woman or you're a man, you got to think about the life you lived prior to coming to this truth. That door was always open. You see that? And the Lord says, seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. And a lot of people like them action movies when that door is closing and they kind of slide under the garage or through the door and they forget their hat. They kind of pick the hat up, then the door closed, and they make it at the nick of time. That's how a lot of people going to make it. You're going to make it at the nick of time.
That's right. Scarcely saved.
Yep, the righteous shall scarcely be saved. Right? So that's what it means. Oh, go ahead, King Salakia.
Slovakia, Acts 16:26 is my last one. I said at 25. And at midnight, Paul and Silas prayed and sang praises unto God, and the prisoners heard them. And suddenly there was a great earthquake, so that the foundations of the prisons were shaken, and immediately all the doors were opened, and everyone's bands were loosed. So a lot of Jake that's prisoned in their mind by these different doctrines, these doctrines, they holding you bondage, right? You in a cell, and the Lord can free you out of that,
Con.
In verse 27.
Real quick, Salakia.
That's
You're
it on
not saying that didn't happen, but y'all ain't break down on the spiritual level.
Con.
Yeah, we gotta clear that up because Jake.
Oh wait, say that again, King.
I'm saying you're not saying that didn't literally happen. You're breaking it
Right.
on the double.
Yeah, on the spiritual level. Yeah.
Jake,
That literally happened, Jake.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how it is.
Yeah, Jake, turn one thing spiritual, everything else is spiritual.
Right.
Or carnal. You know what I'm saying? Jake and these doctrines.
They get too deep.
Yeah.
Con. They start saying the missiles are spiritual missiles.
Yeah.
To destroy your righteousness. So let's go back to Romans chapter 5.
You said Numbers?
Romans chapter 5 and 2.
Romans chapter 5, verse 2. By whom also we have access by faith into this grace wherein we stand and rejoice in hope of the glory of God.
Right.
And not only so, but we glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience.
And you got to glory in tribulations. A lot of you brothers, man, when stuff start going bad, you start crying. I don't know, man. Is this really the truth? I don't know, man. Why would the Lord do this? I thought he brought me in this thing to have fun. I saw the feast days. I saw the wine. What about the wine? The Lord, you got brothers saying the Lord cut off wine from their mouth. And you got to glory in tribulations, man. When you get fired from your job for not keeping the Sabbath, guess what? You got to glory in that. You understand? And when your woman, like we always say, we knew this brother, he used to be part of the camp, but he shaved his head and fled into the wilderness of California. One of his women told him, hey, guess what? Or his woman told him, choose me or choose the Bible. Right? If you don't choose me, I'm leaving. So guess what? For that time, he chose the Most High. And he was kind of going through it, but he had to glory in that thing. You have to glory in tribulations. Financial, spiritually battling demons. You keep falling short. You got to glory in that. You can't faint in this thing, man. It says, knowing that our tribulation worketh patience. Because the Most High is molding you. He's molding you and building you. He's thickening your skin, for lack of better terms. Thickening your spirit. You might have been a sensitive kid back in the day, man. Everything somebody said made you cry. Right? Everything somebody said something about how short you was, so you start fibbing and crying and lying and tooting. Right? But then it slowly, it feel bad, right? You initially feel it, but eventually they keep talking. Eventually you get that thick skin. Eventually you get that thick skin, and that was good that they was talking that mess. It was good because now you got thick skin. Now nothing affects you anymore. Now you like, man, go ahead, man. So the Most High put the spirit in them to talk that mess and bully you and all that and say that stuff, just so you can have that thick skin. And
Yeah.
that's how it is that's how it is on a spiritual level. The Lord send them spirits all on you to vex you and give you that spiritually, that thick skin. To build you up. And you gotta have that thick skin in this thing. If you don't have that thick skin, you're gonna fall out. You got it, King.
And that's what my granddad did to me. Might be on a job doing something, he kind of yelled. He said, I'm doing it to build you up. I'm doing it. I can't remember what he said verbatim, but that's pretty much what he said. I'm doing it to build you up. And I said, God, I couldn't get mad at it, and he continued to do it.
Yeah.
By the time I had my next gig, Jake, they was trying to be all hard or whatever. I was like, so, and I was like, well, you're not affected or anything, like, it was kind of murmuring, just trying to figure out what's going on. I said, so what? I kind of, dealt with this before, you know. And sometimes I was actually just my granddad, his personality. Sometimes he'd be trying to toughen me up, but other times I was just actually him, kind of just being him, you know. So I say all of that to say the Lord's doing the same thing to you. Israel that may be watching this. All right, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's tough love. And of course it's a just balance. I don't think the Lord's always, just tough love and being a jerk to you. It's a just balance to things as well. He's still blessing you while he shows you tough love. He still gives you grace and mercy. That is grace and mercy, you know.
Let's go to let's get a precept real quick in Malachi the 3rd chapter. Right? And they do that, brothers, you experience that all the time. Right? You see that all the time. Right? You might have played sports, football, basketball, right? You might have played soccer or whatever the case may be. You know exactly what we're talking about. When your coach is on you, man, only you got to stay late after practice. You got to do 30 more suicides. You got to bench press 200 pounds. Everybody else got to bench press 100. You know? You got to walk home. Everybody else, they get a ride. Right? Yeah. You got to walk to practice. Everybody else get a ride from the school to practice. You got to deal with it. Now a lot of these players, they get mad and they quit the team. Right? And they go home and they tell their father and their mother, coach is mean. The coach doesn't like me. I want to transfer schools. And the parents, they'll say, whatever you say, boy, right, you're going to be a star one day. Right? And you find out 10 years later, hey, that guy never made it. Right? You looking on the sports center, you looking on the draft, looking on the combine, the top players, 5-star recruits, and that guy, he's not there. Trying to figure out what happened to that guy. He didn't endure the hardness.
Yeah.
He didn't endure the hardness. So guess what? He fell out this thing. And then you got the guy who catching the hell and he loves it. He loves it because he knows it's going to make him stronger. He knows the coach knows, and he knows that the coach is only on him to build him up, to strengthen him. That's why he has to stay late when everybody goes home. That's why he has to run those laps when everybody get water. Because the coach sees something in him. The coach is I'm gonna turn him to a star. And that's the guy who's the #1 draft pick. Right? That's the guy you see on the combine holding up that number 1 jersey with all of the flashing lights, holding up that number 1, saying we made it.
With that hat on,
Yeah,
and
with
his
that.
mom next to him crying.
Yep, his mom, never the dad, but it's always his mom and his cousins, Junebug and Keisha, next to him crying. Right? Might be an uncle or a cousin. Right? Had to leave and smoke a blunt, then weed, then come back. Right? Put on that suit and tie. But it's always their mother.
Yeah, big old suit and tie. You know, they
Yep.
got the coaches got to have that Coach Carter spirit, man.
Yep. That Coach Carter spirit, man. And you got to be like that. That's how the Most High is in this thing for the elect, not for the slothful, and not for the lazy, but for the men of the Most High and the women. You're gonna have to go through. Stop thinking when you come in this truth, you're just gonna get your Bible in your apocrypha and walk down the yellow brick road of success forever. No, you're gonna fall in ditches. You're gonna scrape your knee. And they say when you cut yourself, your skin goes back a little bit stronger. Hey man, you fall on your palms as a kid, your skin start bleeding. You keep falling on your palms, guess what, man? It don't really matter no more. Your skin get real thick physically. You know? I have one more precept real quick. Let's go to the book of Isaiah 48 and 10. Right? So you brothers glory in your tribulation. Stop putting your head down. And there was this clip, this athlete, I think he missed the game-winning shot, and his teammate came and kind of did this.
Yeah.
Kind of made him put his head up. Yeah, he kind of picked up his chin and said, keep it moving. You know? So let's get that real quick, Baba Kashah. Isaiah 48 and 10.
Want me to get it?
Come. If you got it already. Now I'm on my
It's
way.
Isaiah 48 and 10. And it reads, Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction.
Read that again, Baba Kashah.
Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction.
The Lord didn't choose us in the dandelions and a field of roses and ladybugs and dragonflies and marshmallows. If you leave it up to man, that's how you would want this truth to be. Marshmallows, ladybugs, cotton candy, dandelions, and damn
Those yellow ducks, what did he call it? Yellow soft ducks?
peeps.
Yeah.
You know, you'll lay in the bed of peeps and marshmallows all day. And that pillow with the feathers in it. You watch on TV when they hit each other, it actually got the damn feathers in it. You'll lay in those things, man. You know? Hey, the Lord said, they that wear soft clothing are in king's houses. The Lord chose us in a furnace of affliction. Now, when you put something in a furnace, guess what? You're removing undesirable traits from it. Then you make it glow. It eventually glows. And that's how man is. You start getting that shine. You get that luster. You know, you get that, you shine like the jewels of Yahawahsi. So the Lord put you through that fire, which is what that affliction, that chastisement, that hell. And then you come out with those spirits and that lust and them demons that you used to deal with. You really don't deal with them no more. And you come out shining like metal, like gold, you know? And the Lord wants us to go through that affliction. You have to want to go through that fire. You have to pray that the Lord turn up the heat. Not to destroy you, but to correct you, like Jeremiah said. He said, oh Lord, correct me, but not with destruction, lest thou bring me to nothing, paraphrasing. So you want the Lord to correct you. A lot of brothers, you just want the Lord to just turn a blind eye to your sin. Ask the Lord to correct you. You know you're going off. And the Lord, He's going to correct you. A lot of you brothers, you know, you ask your coach when you was in the world, hey, look, I want to do more. Why are we only doing 10 laps? Let's do 20. You know? And a coach kind of like that. And your body's going to like it. When you got that gold medal, everybody's going to like it. You got it, King.
And brothers didn't like that. You know, certain brothers didn't like that. But I was going to mention, when you fall, you know, you get stronger. what doesn't kill you make you stronger, as they say in the world.
Right.
And if brothers noticed, a lot of older head, not older heads, but our elders, a lot of the old Israelites, when they touch things, like it might be an oven or something, and it's hot, you know, it don't really phase them because they've been touching hot stuff their whole life. You got older Issachar when they flipping the tortillas on a furnace, it don't phase them. It don't bother them. But the younger generation, they kind of do it. They They keep burning themselves, so they're not used to the affliction. This is Psalms 26:2. Examine me, O Lord, and prove me, and try my reins and my heart. He didn't say, Lord, make it real easy for me. Make it a cakewalk. Give me the cheat codes. Let me sit crisscross applesauce while you answer all my prayers. The Lord is not moving like that. You know, remember, it's tough love in this thing, and as righteous, as loving. You know, He's not going to give you anything harder that you can't handle. It's like anything too hard that you can handle. Likewise, those who are parents, if you have a child, you're not going to give them a task too hard for them to handle. You understand? The Lord is righteous. You got it.
Psalms chapter 66:10. It reads, "For thou, O God, hast proved us. Thou hast tried us as silver is tried. Thou broughtest us into the net. Thou laidest affliction upon our loins." Imagine getting afflicted in your loins, right? Thou hast caused men to ride over our heads. We went through fire and through water, but thou broughtest us out into a wealthy place. So in order to get to the wealthy place, you gotta go through the fire and through the water. Jake said that in the world, man. I've been through thick and through thin, man. Been through hell and back for you, man.
Trenches.
Yeah, I went through the trenches. Hey, you gotta go through the fire and the water to get to that wealthy place. That's gonna purify you. You might get a little burns, but that's okay. You might slip in that water, hey, but guess what? That's fine. The Most High is gonna bring you through this thing. So you gotta glory in tribulations. You have something else? We can go back to Romans. See that? That's how you got to be in this thing. He kind of had his head down. You got to keep your head up, man. I've seen a lot of people quit the damn team or they miss that shot or they lose the championship game. Then a lot of guys, it makes them stronger. They use it for motivation. When you go off, you got to use that. And when you repent, you got to use that for motivation. Look, I ain't never going off again. I'm going to show that damn demon what it is, man. You ain't never going to get me again, man. All right, I see what you did. You got me that time, but guess what? You ain't never going to get me again. Don't have your head down. Oh, man, woe is me. Woe is me. Send the lions and the leopards. Put at the Lord send lions and leopards on you. That's off. Asking the Lord to send sheep bears and Lord, just have me get hit by a car. I can't do it anyway, right? No, man, keep your head up in this thing, man. And fight the fight. This is a fight. And you watch these fights, even the best of the boxers get hit. You watch these boxers, they do the scorecard, Salakia, right? You might have Floyd fighting somebody, and they threw up the stat, it'd be like how many punches they landed. Even if you win, those guys that win, they get hit like that 35 times.
Yeah.
Some of those guys get knocked down. I've seen fights when the count is almost on like 9 or 10. I can't remember what they count to. It might be 8. I don't know. But they doing a count. The ref is about to damn wave their hand, but then the dude get up, man. He kind of rub his gloves. You know how they rub them nasty gloves. And they going back to doing the thing. Now, yeah, they got a black eye. Some of those guys get cut bad. And they need stitches after the fight. And they eyes swell up. And they get head trauma later in their life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a sad case, But the point of the matter is, hey, these guys, they fight. And they're willing to take hits. Some of these guys, just one more example. I've seen certain videos, these guys, they'll lift up their shirt and say, hit me. and they just keep punching them to build up their their tolerance
Oh
for
yeah,
pain.
yep.
Not like the nasty Moabite who crushed their junk with bricks and slap themselves with a cent. I'm talking about those guys that will hold up their stomach and they'll get hit right in the body to build up their muscular pain and tolerance. Now, a lot of people wouldn't do that, but if you want to win, you got to deal with it. You know? So we can go back to Romans chapter 5. Hey, Romans 5 is a powerful chapter, man. Right? Romans 5 and 3.
Book of Romans chapter 5 verse 3. And not openly so, but we glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulations worketh patience, and
Right?
patience experience, and experience hope.
Right?
And hope maketh not ashamed, because the love of God is shed abroad in our hearts by the Holy Ghost, which is given unto us. For when we were yet without strength, in due time Mashiach died for the ungodly.
See that? The Lord died when you was at your weakest point. Right? When you was in the world on crack, heroin, the Lord died for the ungodly. Now you have to ask yourself, would you die for the ungodly? Would you die for a rapist right now? You have a man raping another woman right now. You catch him in the act and you go to jail for him. Would you do that? No, you wouldn't do that. Because you're not like Yahawahsi. You don't want that love. Is on a whole nother level. You catch a woman drowning her son. The dad's at work. She's drowning her son. She has postpartum. She's drowning him in a tub. Killing him. Would you die for that woman? The police come. They want to stop her. You say, no, stop me instead. I'll take that. Just give her another chance. You wouldn't do that. You had a guy doing a drive-by, killing your brother. He knocked down one. He knocked down the other. Next week, he about to knock down the other guy on L block. He took out his gun to shoot him. He about to go to jail. You say, no, put me in handcuffs instead. I'll go to jail for him. He's ungodly, but guess what? I'm giving him a chance. Hey, that's how the Most High does for us, man. The Lord died for the ungodly. Let's go on. Hey, and you gotta act, well, you wouldn't die for the ungodly. You know? Think about how you was in the world. You wouldn't die for the ungodly, but Yahawahsi died for us.
Yeah.
Not went to jail, not paid a physical tax, died as a king, as an innocent man, a perfect upright man. There was no gall found in his mouth. And there were many times Yahawahsi could have got himself, he could have got off the cross. He could have said, man, F this, man. These niggas off, man. I'm done. Most High, look, send somebody else. Hey, the Lord could have did that, man. The Lord could have sent 12 legions of angels. You know? He could have routed out the apostles. He could have took the pain-killing stuff that the woman wanted to give him. But guess what? He endured it. Here you have Jake doing the same damn sin that the Lord died for. So a lot of you Jakes, you ain't right. Right? Well, let's read on Romans 5. Let's read 6 again.
I was gonna say real quick, JK Kevin, forgive somebody from what they did 5 years ago. So
Yeah.
you damn sure not gonna die for them.
Yeah.
You holding grudges still. I ain't never gonna forget that. You're the last person who's gonna die for them.
And who the hell are you to hold a grudge? You're a man.
Smoking a fat blunt.
And
I hate this guy.
And you're evil. You're in a corruptible body. The Lord said we're evil. How are you evil holding a grudge? You're wicked. You go off every day. Your garments ain't 100%. You're breathing in this toxic. You might have breathed in some pork. Esau might have sent a damn chemtrail of pork over you. Stop thinking that damn smoke is just smoke. You know, probably they have microscopic shrimp in the water. Probably drank some shrimp.
It's right here in peanut butter. You ate 5 peanut butters.
Yeah,
huh?
it's you're right. And I was gonna say it's insects inside of certain things, dead insect larvae. Yeah, you eating damn rats and roaches and you holding a grudge. Madness. And that's why that parable in Matthew 18, forgiveness is so important, man. You know? But let's read on in Romans chapter 5 and 7.
Romans chapter 5, verse 7. For scarcely for a righteous man will one die, yet peradventure for a good man some would even dare to die.
Damn. A lot of brothers, you wouldn't die for a righteous man. You think about it. That guy, he is wicked. Now, why would I die for him? He didn't. He did kind of do that one thing I didn't like. Maybe I'm not going to die for him. Right? Just looking for something not to die for him. He did look at my woman at one time. Maybe he deserves this. That's his judgment. All right? The lot fell upon him. That's off, man. The Lord is giving you the mentality of man. It said, for scarcely, the Lord knows man. For scarcely for a righteous man will one die. Yet peradventure for a good man, some would even dare to die. A lot of brothers, you wouldn't even die for a good man. Man, he give alms, he charitable. He love his nation. You wouldn't die for him. You thinking about yourself and your life. Let's go on.
Jake, you kill bugs. So you're
Right.
not gonna, you're not gonna die for nobody. You kill ants all day.
Right.
I was working with Ishmael. Did that. I gotta go pray to my God. Just killing insects all day. It's off. Be swapping them all damn day. Got him. I'm gonna go pray to my God.
Yeah.
Man is off.
Yeah, man.
A lot of you Jakes too.
Man is evil. Right? Straight up and down. Man is evil. We're not right. I'm not right. Yahawahsi's not right. Hey, you're not right, man. That's why we need the Lord, man. We need Yahawahsi and Yahawahshi. Because we're not perfect. I don't care how loud a brother voice is, how long his beard is, how beautiful a sister hair wrap is, how long her fringes are, how many lessons he do, how many words she speak. You're not right. You need the Most High. You need Yahawahshi to deliver you. That's why we're not boasting about our works. Who the hell are we? And the works that are wrought in man are wrought by Yahawahsi and Yahawahshi. Anyway, anything you do, the Most High is doing it.
That's right.
You got, man, I did this. I did that. Right? I did this. You ain't doing a damn thing. Stop thinking you doing stuff, man. It's all honor and all glory to Yahawahsi and Yahawahshi.
Man is raunchy.
Man is raunchy and man is a pervert. Now, you got certain people, they'll get mad when you say all praise to the Most High. Why won't you take the credit? You keep giving praise to the Most High. I knew somebody, we used to say Lord, well, not used to, slack you. When I used to know them, all we would say is Lord willing. Why do you keep saying Lord willing?
Yeah.
Stop saying that. No, we're not going to stop saying Lord willing. You're going to do it anyway. So, man, this is a corrupt kingdom and a filthy, nasty kingdom. That's why the Most High got to destroy this place. You know? So let's read on Romans 5 and 8.
Romans chapter 5, verse 8. But God commended his love toward us, in that while we were yet sinners, Mashiach died for us.
While you were smoking that blunt, the Lord died for you. While you a woman, you was on your 9th body with your legs open, drunk, off of some E&J, the Lord died for you. He looked at you and he still died for you. And you were a man, you were a whoremonger. You was dealing with prostitutes, you was gang banging, you was selling poison to your own people. You getting that money, and the Lord died for you, right? You got to think about this. Stop just thinking the Lord is just coming back to destroy Esau. That's all you think about, Yahawahshi. Just chopping off Esau.
Right.
That's all. That's the only thing when you think about Yahawahshi, you think about Edom. You got them down there on the same level. No, you got to think about how the Lord died for you. For the Lord kills these heathen, he died for you. That's your hope. That's why you in this truth. That's why I'm in this thing. And we don't deserve to be in this thing. You don't deserve to be in this thing. People get offended when I say that. What do you mean? I do deserve to be in this thing. I went to college. We give a damn about your college, man. People get mad when we say that. You don't deserve, when we point the finger at the camera and say, you don't deserve to be in this thing, our people are still proud and they're getting offended. I do deserve to be in this. What did you do deserve to be in this truth? We'll drop the link. You tell me what you did to earn this truth. And we're gonna let you have it. We're gonna lean, you're gonna see a side of Yardan you never seen before. You know? That's why he turned the camera off. Balling up his fist right now. At the camera. Right? You didn't do nothing to deserve this thing, man. So it says in verse 8, but the Most High commended his love toward us, and that while we were yet sinners, Hamashiach died for us. See that? Let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 5. Right? While we were yet sinners, Hamashiach died for us. And that's deep, man. Right? That's deep. So, let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and 14. I believe that's what I want. Oh, you got it, King.
2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 14. For the love of Hamashiach constraineth us, because we thus judge that if one died for all, then we're all dead.
See, we were all dead. That's the judgment. So nobody was alive. Right? We all were spiritually dead. So we needed the Lord for us. Every time Yahawahshi was scourged, had the crown, and tell you in Isaiah chapter 53, with his stripes we are healed. With his death gives you life. Go on.
Verse 15. And that he died for all.
And you like you name me one heathen king who did that for their people. You name me one heathen leader that can do that. You Alexander the Great, your damn Nebuchadnezzars, your Genghis Khans, all your worldly, who's another worldly so-called men of renown? Hitler, Cyrus the Great, Napoleon, George Washington. They wouldn't die for you, man. Where's these heathen kings? Where's their love towards their people? How the Lord loves us? You think creepy Joe Biden Joe would do that for you? Even for his fellow Edomites? And these Edomites have sold out to other Edomites. You know? These heathen kings, they can't even come close to the love that Yahawahshi has towards his saints. Not even close. You see how these heathen leaders treat their people, man? They starving them out. They robbing them. They got military bases, but they can't come into the military bases. They're robbing them, finessing them. They think that they have money. They have no money. Like 10% of the world is owned by like 15 men. So this place is corrupt, man. But the Lord loves us as a king to die for us. You know? Let's read on second. Oh, you have something?
No,
All right, let's read on 2 Corinthians 5. See, we're supposed to close out, but now we're getting into it. Because we're talking about Yahawahshi. And we're not going to stop talking about Yahawahshi. We're going to magnify Yahawahshi. What else are we going to do? We don't have nothing else. All we have is the Lord. You know?
Yeah. I'll be thinking about that at work. When you be working and you know certain people at your job, they got a lot of knowledge in their job and their work. You're like, oh yeah, that's whatever, that's cool, whatever. All I got is the Lord.
Yeah.
Make you like, I don't give a dang about that. So what?
Right.
Like all I need is the Lord. For real. All I need are these precepts. Pray. That's all I really need. And, sometimes the work can, make you feel bad or make you feel dumb because you can't do this with the computer. You don't know how to make a spreadsheet, and
Right.
you can't lift this upside down. They make
Right.
you feel like a jerk, like
Yep.
you're just a nothing baby. You
Yep.
know. Hey, but you got to really remember at the end of the day, hey, all you need is the Lord. All you need is some precepts. I was working with the heathen other sea. He said, "Oh, you know how to do that?" I said, "No, I didn't know." And frankly, I don't care.
Right.
You know. And I'm thinking about precepts in my head. We're not made to live in this world like that.
Right.
The Lord didn't say, "Thou shalt be a carpenter in the earth. Thou shalt be an electrician."
Right.
Lord didn't say that. Hey, keep the commandments. So
Yeah.
obviously, just so Jake, there's always that one Jake. We're not saying be a bum and live in a trash can like Oscar from Sesame Street. You know, that's not what I'm saying. You gotta, use the world and not abuse it. Right? You're gonna have to know how to do little stuff, but the whole point is, don't let this world make you feel bad for not knowing the things of this world. Because at the end of the day, all you really need is the scriptures. Yahawahsi, your brothers, your sisters, you know,
Come.
everything to keep you grounded.
And on top of that, hey, the world could take stuff from you, man. You can get fired from your job. They could take your money from you. They could take your house from you. They could foreclose your house. They could take away your self-esteem, like the brother was saying, but they can't take away the Most High. That's one thing that they can't take away from you, man. Hey, the Lord prayed that you would be in the I in them and they in me, paraphrasing. So they can't take away because the Most High dwells in you, right? That the Yahawah Shah makes their abode in you. So that's a beautiful point that the brother was saying, man. This world damn break you down, you know, and throw you to the wolves. This is a cruel world, they say, man. It's a wicked kingdom, you know. It's dog eat dog out here, man. How they say, right? But with the Most High, it's nothing but life. That's why He's our refuge, our hope. You know, that's where you go when you go into our shadow, right? Like
That's
the brother
right.
said, the brother Ban Yahawahsi House Manessa, this world can drain your energy and joy, but we have the scriptures at the end of the day. So screw Esau's world. So that's why you have to know the love of Yahweh Shah. All of the in-depth breakdowns aren't going to deliver you. It's the love and fear towards the Most High and His Son Yahweh Shah, and that hope that you have towards Yahweh Shah. Right? Let's read on. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and 15.
2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 15. And that he died for all, that they which live should not henceforth live unto themselves, but unto him which died for them and rose again.
So now you got to live for the Lord. Your entire day is based off of Yahweh Shah. Every day you wake up, how can I live for Yahweh Shah? That's how you got to think. Whatever you got going on, how can I live for the Lord? Okay, the Lord died for me. Now I have to live for the Lord. You got to change your life around in this thing. Every second, I'm living for the Lord. How you speak? Okay, the Lord died for me, gave me an opportunity to speak righteousness. Let me speak righteousness. The Lord gave me the opportunity to love my brother. Let me love my brother. The Lord gave me the opportunity to do the work. Let me do the work. That's what this thing is about. It's not about living for yourself. That's what America teaches you. They say follow your heart. Follow your dreams. You can be whatever you want to be. Chase the rainbow. Right? Do all that is in thine heart. Is that what the Most High said? No, the Most High said you live for the Lord. Like I always use that example, man. You might be facing murder or on death row. Right? It's 40 people in the stands. The jury is against you. And all of the charges, it look like you're doing a death penalty. And there's been cases like this all the time. Right? You have no lawyer. The judge hates your guts because you're just a little nigger. And now you had little boys getting a death and getting the electric chair at 14 years old back in the day. I seen a video of a 15-year-old got lynched. There are cases when the world is just against you. And you expect that. These kids back in the 30s, 40s, the slave plantations, they didn't expect a fair trial. They knew that death was coming. You know? Imagine being on the damn stand and you about to damn go to jail or get put to death, and a man raise his hand and say, stop the trial. You know, them famous trials got the cameras in there too.
Yeah.
They got the damn Polaroid. He say, stop the trial. You said what?
No, I was just gonna say you got the sketch artists in there, but you
And
got
you got the people typing. Can't remember.
stenographers.
Yeah, stenographer. You see that? Got the damn stenographer in there typing the damn thing. And then he raised his hand and say, look, no more death penalty for that guy. I'll die for him. And the judge will say, no, you can't do that. He says, stop the trial. I'll die for that guy. The joy, all you hear is gasp in the crowd. Faint gasps and silence and whispers. So. Everybody whispering. And he's standing up. You got to visualize this thing. You got to get into it. The judge is scratching his head. The bailiff got his hand on the gun. Right? And he's looking to knock you down. But this guy says, look, I'll die for this man. You heard me. I'll die for him. Let this man go free. Give him another chance. Let him go free. And then you watch that man get his brains blown out right in front of you. They just shoot him on sight, and you see him die in front of you. His blood might spill on you. You were so close to him. He walked up to the stand, and his blood kind of spilt on you. And you see his brains all on the floor, and skull fragments, and his body twitching, and blood gushing out. But the judge says, get out, go free. But you're in shock because this thing has never happened before, and it will never happen again. But the judge says, get out, go free. You have another chance. Now, when you walk out that courtroom, if you go back and be the same nigga you used to be, you go back and be the same man that you was prior to that situation. You smoke a blunt, you smoke a cigarette, you be a whore, you be a drunkard, you be a backbiter, you don't be submissive, you go back to being an abuser and a molester, your judgment is going to be worse than that of the heathen. With that situation, you got to say, hold on now. I have to live my life for that man now. I have to live my life for the Most High. That man that died for me, guess what? That's my example. Anything he did, I'm going to live for him. That's how we got to be in this thing. That's how it's supposed to be. And that's the way it's going to be if you're the elect of the Most High. You got it, King.
Yeah, man.
Come on, let's finish Hebrews chapter 7. I think we have one more verse. Or two more verses.
We in 2 Corinthians or Hebrews 5 or 7?
Like in Hebrews 7 and 26. Let's finish that.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 7, verse 26. And it reads, for such an high priest became us, who is holy, harmless, undefiled, separate from sinners, and made higher than the heavens.
Right.
Who needeth not daily as those high priests to offer up sacrifices, first for his own sins, and then for the people's. For this he did once, when he offered up himself.
Right.
For the law maketh men high priests, which have infirmity, but the word of the oath, which was since the law, maketh the Son, who is consecrated forevermore.
See that? So the high priest will go into the holiest of holies and offer up the atonement for himself and for the people. But Yahawahsi did that when he went up on the cross and died for us. So now you have to live your life towards Yahawahsi. If you haven't before, tell yourself you're living your life for the Lord. Read Matthew, read Mark, read Luke, read John, read about Yahawahsi. And stop just reading the part about turning water to wine all day. When he flipped over the tables. Read how he wept. Read how he loved. It says, oh, how he loved Lazarus. You know? Read how he taught the apostles. Read how he healed his people. Read how he prayed for the apostles. He prayed for them. Read John 17. He prayed for us. There was a prayer made for us. We don't deserve the prayers of you. Who are we to deserve the prayers of Yahawahsi? Who the hell are we?
All
You got
right.
closing precepts?
It's all right. Chapter 35, verse 1. He that keepeth the law bringeth offerings enow. He that taketh heed to the commandment offereth a peace offering. He that requiteth a good turn offereth fine flour, and he that giveth alms sacrificeth praise. Right? And we're also priests. All right. But Yahawahsi, he's the high priest. Right? So us being priests, that means that we have certain duties that we have to fulfill as well, which is what? Giving sacrifices. All right. Giving alms, praising the Lord. Verse 3. To depart from wickedness is a thing pleasing to the Lord, and to forsake unrighteousness is a propitiation. You can't call yourself a priest, a man of the Lord, a man that's trying to keep the commandments, a man that's serving the Lord, if you're not abstaining from wickedness. All right, what happened to the priest that was doing wickedness in the scriptures? The Lord cut him down. Verse 4, thou shalt not appear empty before the Lord, and that's plain upon tables. Right? Priests have a certain duty. If we have a certain duty, and the Lord requires that we come to him with our hands full. For all these things are to be done because of the commandment. The offering of the righteous make the altar fat, and the sweet savor thereof is before the Most High. All your works, all your deeds, they're brought before the Most High, and he's examining you. All right? He knows you better than you know yourself. You can say that you're self-examining yourself, and I'll try to do this. Oh, I know me. I know I'll do that. He knows you better than you know yourself. All right? So, verse 7, the sacrifice of a just man is acceptable, and the memorial thereof shall never be forgotten. So, you got to do the work. You can't come with the empty hand before the Lord.
Come. And I'm gonna switch it up. This Colossians 3:17. And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Yahawahsi, giving thanks to God and the Father by him. So whatever you do in word and deed, you got to give thanks to the Most High. Stop just praying and asking for stuff like the Most High's a genie, man. I want this and I want this. Lord, give me this, give me that. And you never give thanks. Whatever you do, give thanks. Even the Lord allowing you to pray, give thanks to the Most High, because he could have put the spirit in you to go back in the world right now and smoke a cigarette. Right? You in there, you cooking your food. Thank the Most High for allowing you to have food to be able to cook. Because you could be out there and be a damn Edomite begging for food. You could be a leper. You could be a broke back. You could have a reprobate mind. You open up your Bible, give thanks to the Most High for allowing you to comprehend and understand the scriptures, for being in His truth. If you got a woman, give thanks to the Most High for allowing you to have a righteous head. If you have a wife, thank the Most High for your woman. Whatever you do, give thanks to the Most High. Nah? When you praying, when you fasting, when you studying, when you reading, right? You drive, you get from one place to the other safely. The Lord kept the angel around you. Whatever you do, say the water Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh. That's what this thing is about. It's about thanking the Most High. A lot of you brothers, you don't thank the Most High like you should. And you know that. Right? Everybody knows that.
Yeah, stop being a spoiled brat.
Yeah, stop being a spoiled brat. You just got one handout. You go for the Most High like this. Like he's a weekly allotment. You don't get the Most High no thanks. right? Hear the Most High building you up, increasing your knowledge, increasing your wisdom, increasing your understanding, building you up in the faith, brought you around brothers, brought you around sisters, right? You still in the truth while people falling out. You don't have no bugged out strange doctrine. You're sincere. Thank the Most High for allowing you to be sincere. Stop playing with the Most High and his son Yahawahsi, or the Most High is going to destroy you, man. Because he's looking at your heart and reins, and you're not giving him the honor that the Most High deserves. And the Lord said all men are going to honor the Son as they honor the Father. And they worship Yahawahsi. You understand? A woman then cried and washed his feet with her tears. But with that, we're going to close up, giving, of course, our honor and our glory to Yahweh. By Shema Mashiach Malak Yahawahsi. I will take questions for an hour if brothers have any questions about the lesson. Salakia. And we'll answer those, right? If brothers have any questions, brothers are feel free to call in. Right, that number is 213-603-9096. Right, you should see it on the screen, 213-603-9096. And that PIN number is 94809-305. Again, that PIN number is 94809-305. The number's on your screen, 213-603-9096. That, Brother Naquam.
Brother Yardan.
Kwam Yasha.
Shalom.